Hello everyone and welcome back to another Grizzly True Crime live stream with me, Gisela K. Thank you so much, Petey Notterman. Spoiling fury right off the bat. Thank you very much. So today we are looking at the case of Megan Imirowicz, a teenager who is on trial for DV and for the chemical, right? The misdemeanor of throwing a chemical on her dad. So we're going to get into the overview of that. As you can see, I'm starting the stream with members only, just so that we could see if the Zoom link works out and everything, because yesterday was actually day one of the trial, jury selection, opening statements, and the first witness. However, the court wasn't able to get their Zoom stream going, so it wasn't streamed yesterday. It should be today. They said it should start at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So let's have a look if it does. That should be in the next 22 minutes, which I thought gives us some time to look at the opening statements. Hello and welcome, everyone. Okay, so Deb, thanks for being a member for 6 months. I'm just seeing what you guys are saying. Yes, someday it'll just be Fury in front of the camera. Okay, so now let's have a look quickly at an overview of this case. I just want to find that article that I had for you. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on. Sorry, just want to move this. Hello. Moving that around. Okay, this. Let's move me firstly. Let's make me a little bit smaller. So yeah, this should be streamed via Zoom, which will be pretty cool if it all works out. Okay. So they say, Groveland Township, Michigan. The trial of a teen accused of dousing her father with drain cleaner is underway in Michigan. Megan Joyce Imirowicz allegedly tossed a mix containing lye powder and water on Konrad Imirowicz, 64, while he was napping on a couch at the family's Groveland Township on October 1st, 2021. She was 18 at the time. The thing is, you know, he was very, very drunk. It was her 18th birthday. She was having a party that night. She was going to get her hair done and very excited for this. And while it's never okay to do this, it's kind of like you can understand her rage, right, and her frustration. And I'm wondering why CPS was never involved. Like, how long did this go on, right? What happened? And it sounds like she was quite neglected. But let's continue on. Let me know what you think as well. The thing is lye powder, right? So they say lye powder is, of course, like a drain cleaner. But when mixed with water, it's got like a hypothermic or thermal reaction, which can cause chemical burns. So that is quite a problem as well. Karen Bookart says, yuck, he's a lot older. Let me just move this quickly. There you go. Yes, okay. So welcome to mods, to members. And once we are live publicly, which I hope will happen today, I hope it all works out, welcome to everyone. So especially replay watchers, because you'll probably be watching this. Yeah, so Heidi says there could be some neglect or abuse involved. South Florida Girl says the best host and channel, in my opinion. Love supporting you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone. I'm not going to read them all out, otherwise I interrupt the whole stream. But thank you so much for all your many months of support. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so then to continue on, Konrad was hospitalized that day with chemical burns to his head, torso, and extremities. He spent months in intensive care before being released to an in-home hospice care in his final days. The thing is, he didn't react, like he didn't, from what we know, from everything I've read, because he was so drunk. So they say even the chemical was on his hands as if he'd like rubbed it into his skin even more, She had thrown it on him and left the house. And unfortunately, yes, the chemical just sat on him the whole day. So it's quite hectic. Yeah, Hope and Fear says, hope Zoom works. And Little Miss Mad, happy very, very hot Tuesday. Yes, I hope it works. I've got it ready for us, and I'll just wait to see when it starts. So, Konrad succumbed to his injuries and died on March 6th, 2022. So this happened October 1st, 2021, and Konrad died on March 6th, so like 5 months later, right? Sure, okay. October, November, December, January, February, March. Yep, 5 months later, Oakland County prosecutors have charged Megan with unlawful possession or use of harmful devices, imitation or irritants, causing death, a felony, and misdemeanor domestic violence. According to police, Megan left her father unconscious after dousing him. A neighbor found Konrad. Investigators later found lye powder on the couch. Lye powder is a common cleaning agent often used in drains. When mixed with water, it creates what is known as an exothermic reaction. This causes a dramatic temperature increase, and the solution can reach as high as 200 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's a lot of debate going on of whether she Googled that or knew that, beforehand. In my opinion, I'm not sure if you knew that, because wouldn't you normally mix the lye powder with water to put down the drain or not? I've never used lye powder. I just buy the ready mix stuff, But there's debate going on about that as well. I'm not sure, that this is like premeditated murder. I think it was a rage reaction and throwing the stuff on him and leaving the house and maybe not realizing what this would cause. What do you guys think? Okay. So they say the reaction results in fumes that, when inhaled, render people unconscious. By the time Konrad was discovered, he was severely burned and had lost consciousness. Police have not publicly stated what they believe Megan's motive to have been. Rage? Frustration? Anyway, so daily trial updates. So day one was yesterday. 12 jurors and 2 alternates were chosen to hear evidence in the case. Prosecutor Jason DeSantis delivered the state's opening arguments, right? And then we can watch it there. DeSantis said that Konrad Imirowicz was intoxicated and passed out when lye and water were tossed on him. Attorney Richard Miller delivered the defense opening statement, so we'll watch that as well. And then Kayla Bousquette, who was friends with Megan, testified that she was the person who found Konrad. Kayla described his body as being discolored from the burns. They said it was like all blackened. Oh, shame. Those burns were hectic. His legs were green and his hands and fingers were red and purple. And I heard in the opening statement they're saying it was like hectic burns and it looked blackened, right? So, yes, Karen Bookart says, I don't think she Googled it's a rage decision. That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, guess the jury will decide, I guess. That's why I think this could be interesting to see, well, what will the outcome of this be? And what do you guys think the outcome should be? It's not often that one empathizes with the defendant in many of these cases we cover, but I'm like, I don't know. In some ways, I feel sorry for her, even though I know it's not okay to do that. So we will be watching that. Okay, so we've got that, and then I just quickly want to show you this is the judge. Judge Valentine. Judge Honorable Victoria A. Valentine is the judge. Very pretty lady, hey? Okay, so I haven't heard the judge speak yet, or I don't even know how long exactly this trial is going to be, but I anticipate it will be within a week or two or so. So, yes. Thank you so much. D Street says I can keep you updated now that I know it's here in Michigan. Okay, so let me see the time. We've got 15 minutes. Let's quickly go to this. Not that, this. Yeah, okay. So the only people that have it so far, the opening statements, it's Court TV. Okay, so let's play it here. You can't. The Grizzly boost is needed. I can see that. Just hold on. Let's put the boost on. I think it's like super soft. Okay, wait. Let's go back here. There we go. I hope you can see, and I'm waiting for the Zoom link, okay? So, here we go. Thank you.
Good afternoon again, everyone. Criminal cases are always about choices and consequences. A person will make a choice to do something, and the consequences ensue. In our society, we hold people accountable for the choices and the consequences of their choices, and that is why we are here today. because on October 1st, 2021, Megan Imirowicz made a choice to act, and the action led to the death of her father, Konrad Imirowicz. Megan turned 18 on September 29th of 2021. She was supposed to have a birthday party on the night of October 1st, 2021. She'd also made a hair appointment that day, so she was going to go and get her hair done and then go to this birthday party. So she woke up at home on October 1st, at the home she shares with her father, Konrad, and that was in Ortonville, Michigan, here in Oakland County. Now, Megan does not drive, so she needed Konrad to take her to the hair appointment. So she goes to get him. And she finds what I think you're going to hear is a familiar sight, which is that Konrad, even at 10 o'clock in the morning or so, was drunk. And he was actually so drunk he was effectively passed out. And this made her enraged. I think this was probably the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the drinking, because it was a common occurrence. It was supposed to be her birthday party. That's supposed to be a good day, 18th birthday party with your friends. And now he was being drunk again and endangering it, and she absolutely blew her lid. So they started arguing, she wakes him up, they're talking, he's still extremely drunk. You're gonna find out that even later, when people first got there, he was still kind of out of it, and that he was still very drunk even then. And she starts throwing things at him. Just everything that's lying around. And you're gonna see in the photos, there was a lot of stuff lying around. But one of the things that you're going to find out that she admitted to throwing at him was water. And another thing that she's going to admit to throwing at him, as you're going to see on a police interview video, is a white powder, a cleaning agent, that she's going to say got in and around his legs. The product, of course, was lye. And I think you're going to find that the statement that there was a little bit of white powder was probably an understatement that she made to protect herself, because it was not just a little bit of white powder. Lye, of course, is a common product. It's an alkali. We use it in tons of things, soap, fertilizer, but it's also a household cleaner. It's available at pretty much any store. You can buy it at Ace Hardware, and it's used very commonly for dry cleaning, or for drain cleaning. It is dangerous to humans. Enough so that, as you're likely going to see, the bottle of lye in this particular case that was found at the scene has a big red skull and crossbones on the front. It says dangerous burns and other warnings right there on the front. It's useful stuff, but it is very dangerous. It's the sort of thing that you get out as the chemical big gun when the regular stuff that you use at home doesn't work. So she puts this on him, and it gets everywhere, and it's all over his skin because, unfortunately, Konrad was asleep on the couch and he was effectively naked at the time. So all of this got in direct contact with his skin. Now, Megan has a friend come and pick her up, and she leaves to go to her hair appointment. Konrad is still passed out. So this stuff is just sitting on him, eating away at his flesh for a very long time. He doesn't wake up. It's a couple hours later when Megan calls a friend named Kayla from down the street to go and check on her dad, because Megan's out, she's trying to use the credit card, it's not working, and so she needs the number. So she calls Kayla, says, hey, can you go check on my dad and get the credit card? So Kayla goes in, walks in the house, it's unlocked. She walks up the stairs, turns to the left, and there's the couch, where Konrad still is, and there he is. He's covered in what we're going to find out are burns, chemical burns, that cover approximately 41% of his body. They are black, they are thick, they are deep. They are not going to be pleasant to look at. She calls Megan, of course, and talks to her. Megan kind of just dismissive, doesn't really acknowledge what's going on. Kayla also calls her mom. She also calls Austin Imirowicz, who is Konrad's oldest son and Megan's older brother. Austin tells her to call 911. Of course, they show up. He's immediately taken by EMS to the hospital, to Ascension Genesis. And then it's there that Konrad says to Austin and another friend who was with him, Lucas Kobe, in hearing of a nurse, who overhears this, that Megan threw some powder on. This nurse, now believing that this might be an assault, calls 911 to report it as an assault, and the Michigan State Police get involved and start investigating. They eventually go locate where she is, which is at a hotel, when they finally get to talk to her. She's outside with some friends in a car. They go up to the vehicle. They ask if they can talk to her. She steps out, and she gives the interview that I've kind of already mentioned, where she effectively admits that she threw these things at her father. Konrad was in very bad shape, even then. On that same day, he's transferred to the burn unit at Hurley Medical Center in Flint. So he's there from October 1st until March 3rd, 2022. There's 153 days that they are trying to save his life. In that time, he has repeated infections from the wounds. He goes on dialysis because his kidneys are shot. He has both of his legs amputated. He has tracheotomy, and lots of other things go on while he's there. At the end of the 153 days, he goes home on hospice because he's decided to take himself off life support. He dies 3 days later at home on March 6, 2022. As I said, Megan Imirowicz made a choice, and the consequence led to the death of her father. We have charged Megan Imirowicz with one count of committing an unlawful act with a chemical irritant for an unlawful purpose causing death. This requires us to prove these are the elements of the offense.
Mr. Rizzo,
Yes. Can you wait outside?
Can you stay in the hallway?
That's okay. Thank you. So the elements of the offense are the things I have to prove. They're the only things I have to prove. Now, you probably heard of words like motive. I don't have to prove motive. I think we will, but I don't think I have to. What I do have to prove is that on or about October 1st, 2021, in Oakland County, Michigan, that the defendant placed, used, or released a substance. That the substance then was that she possessed, placed, used, or released was a chemical irritant. The law defines that as a solid, liquid, or gas that through its chemical or physical properties, alone or in combination with one or more other substances, can be used to produce an irritant effect in humans, animals, or plants. Third, that the defendant possessed, placed, used, or released the chemical irritant to frighten, terrorize, intimidate, threaten, harass, injure, assault, batter, or kill Konrad Imirowicz. Fourth, the possession, place, and use or release of the chemical irritant resulted in the death of Konrad Imirowicz. Now, I want to talk for a moment about the third element there. That's the intent element. She did it for the purpose of this, right? You're going to have, generally this is one of those places where in a criminal case you have to infer intent. People don't usually declare out loud, what they were trying to do when they do something illegal. You do not have to all agree upon which intent of the list that you have there that it is. One of you may think it was to scare him. One of you may think it was to hurt him. One of you may think it was to kill him. You don't all have to agree on that part. A verdict has to be unanimous, but your rationale for getting there here does not. I think it's going to be pretty clear what the intent was. You only throw things at someone when you want to hit them with it. You only do that when you're angry. And you only throw things or put things on people when you want to hurt them or scare them or do any one of those things that you want to do that's a negative action towards them because you're upset and angry. And I would say this, I think you only put drain cleaner on someone when you want to hurt them or scare them. It is unfortunate that he was not in the kind of condition to wake up. She's also charged in an alternate with one count of domestic assault. So this is a charge you can consider if you don't all agree on count one of the unlawful use of chemical irritants. That says that the defendant assaulted and battered Konrad Imirowicz. A battery is defined as a forceful, violent, or offensive touching of a person or something closely connected with them. And then it must have been intended by the defendant, that is not an accident, for the actual touching, and it must have been against Konrad Imirowicz's will. An assault is basically a battery that's not complete. So if I throw a punch at you, like this to scare you, it doesn't hit you, that's an assault, but not a battery. If I connect on the punch, that's a battery. Okay? So that's the difference. Assault cannot happen by accident. Second, that at the time Konrad Imirowicz was a resident or former resident of the same household. So that's the domestic assault charge, that's the alternate. That's something for you to consider if you don't all agree on count one. Now, the standard to which I have to prove these things is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a phrase we've heard a lot already. It's a bit of a cliche to say that a criminal case is like a puzzle, but it is a useful way of analogizing this. Judge is going to give you clear instructions on what this means legally, but the way I like to think about it is, if you're making the puzzle, that's your job in this case, I have all the pieces. I'm going to give you the pieces over the course of the trial in the form of the evidence and the witness's testimony, and help you put it all together at the end. And when you make a puzzle, I think you all agree, at some point there comes, when you're doing it, a moment when you know what the picture of the puzzle is, even though the puzzle is not 100% complete, right? There will be pieces missing. There might even be a big gap missing, right? Because our standard is not 100%. It's not beyond a shadow of a doubt. You can't know anything beyond a shadow of a doubt where you are. The only way you could know that was if you were a witness. And if you had been there, if you had seen it. And then you wouldn't be in this chair, you'd be in that one, right? So our standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. A clear, honest doubt arising out of the evidence or lack of evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your patience. and your patience and consideration to come. I believe when the proofs in this case are complete, you're going to be able to kind of answer the question that I had told you in jury selection a case is about. What happened, and did what happened break the law? I think you will have the evidence you need to determine the truth of what happened on October 1st, on what happened to Konrad Imirowicz, why he died, how he died, and who was responsible for it. I think the evidence is going to show that Megan Imirowicz made that choice, and it killed her father. So at the end of this trial, I ask you for a verdict that holds her responsible for her choices, and that will be a verdict of guilty as charged. Thank you.
Fairly short.
Okay, that was the prosecutor's opening statements. Now let's see the defense. I'm watching the Zoom link to see when it comes on.
This case. Now, what happened on that day was tragic, no question. But there's some more facts you need to know. His son, when he went to the hospital, talked to him. When he went to the hospital, his statements were, "I don't remember what happened." Mr. Imirowicz said that. When the young lady who was checking on him comes in, she walks in and says hello, and he responds. He didn't feel anything at that point in time. This is several hours later. His blood alcohol level was very high. And his son said, look, what he told me, him and Megan had a fight. Okay. They had a fight, they had an argument. She admitted she threw some bread at him and a couple other things. But that doesn't mean that she threw this stuff at him. Okay? Now, if you look at his blood alcohol level when he goes into the hospital, it's extremely high. And several hours earlier, frankly, he would have been dead if he had that blood alcohol level and hadn't been drinking. But he admitted to the son that after the argument, he was drinking again. Now, this stuff is all over his body. He went to take a nap. It was all over his body. The only hands who have any damage are his. He's been rubbing this in. He's been sitting there, but he didn't feel anything. All right? This is a tragic situation. Throughout all the medical records, and I think we're going to admit the medical records, there's total probably 20,000 pages. Never once does he say, I remember what happened. Never once does he say Megan did it. Never once does he say or blame anyone for this. Now, he went through a horrific experience, but he was also an extreme alcoholic. So, this is a bad situation. You're going to have to look at all the facts, all the situation, listen to all the testimony, and make up your mind. Now, it's early. You haven't heard anything. Please listen to everything and make up your mind. Okay? And thank you for your cooperation.
Mr. Miller?
Okay, so those are the opening statements. So just to clarify there, Megan Imirowicz turned 18 that day. It was like her 18th birthday. And she was very upset that her dad, from what we can hear, was passed out drunk on the couch. And she threw a whole bunch of stuff, including lye mixed with water, which is sodium hydroxide. And especially mixed with water can cause chemical burns, which it did. And she threw the stuff on him and then left the house to go get her hair done and plan her birthday party. And it was a neighbor that found him. And he already had all those burns and things. So, yes. LEB from Tennessee, will you be streaming this whole case live? I plan to. I'm just waiting to see. You just never know with these trials. Is it going to work out or not? You know, with the Zoom, here's the Zoom link that I'm seeing. Yeah, I don't see them starting anything yet. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. Okay, I also want to find, just hold on 1 second, if I can. I quickly want to find... 1 second here, that first witness, you know? So let's just go close this. Wait for it. Opening statements. Okay, wait. Show us the first ones. I know you can't see my screen right now. Sorry about that. But I hope you're catching on with what the case is about. I don't think she knew, but we don't know that, Squally. Did she know that that would happen to him? An 18-year-old? She just turned 18 on the day? I don't know. And I also don't know where her mom is. It seemed like she just lived with her dad. I'm not too sure about that either. Okay, so I just want to... Where the heck did they not... Maybe they haven't uploaded that yet? Megan Imirowicz. Pop quiz. How do we spell it, you guys? Imirowicz. Engineer says, I like this trial, so complex and her situation seems to be relatable for so many of us here. Maybe minus the naked. Ooh, I know, right? Yes. I just want to see, did they not... Okay, wait, first witness. Because they definitely had it somewhere. Okay, we have it without the ads, though. And let's just check Zoom. Yeah, it's still just... So annoying, oh my word. Okay, let's go to... I'll show you in a moment the screen now. There was an article I found here that had former friend testifies. Which means there will be adverts. This is also why. We're starting with members only to see, well, what happens with this court. Oakland County Court, by the way. They say the host has joined, we'll let them know you're here. I mean, they're supposed to be starting any minute now. Yes, and I see you guys are asking, she did get a friend to give her a lift that day, a ride. Okay, let's see here.
Kayla Bousquette, and she did a lot of texting back and forth with Megan, and I think she might be able to provide some information. Let's get into the courtroom for her direct examination.
Ma'am, before you be seated, stand. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn?
Yes. Under penalty of perjury, you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you. And ma'am, state your name for the record, please.
Kayla Bousquette.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Can you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Kayla Renee Bousquette, Kayla Renee Bousquette.
Thank you. Do you know someone named Konrad Imirowicz?
Yeah.
Do you know someone named Megan Imirowicz?
Yes.
Do you see Megan Imirowicz in court today?
Yes.
Can you please point to her and a device on she's wearing for us?
The blouse. Wait. Under her blouse.
Judge had asked the record to reflect the witness identify the defendant.
Mr. Miller?
That's fine, no objection.
So noted.
Thank you. And how do you know Ms. Imirowicz?
We used to be friends.
All right. You said used to be friends.
Yeah.
How long were you friends?
For about 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you go to the same school?
Yes.
Did you live near?
Yes.
And in what town do you live?
Ortonville, or Groveland.
And that's in Oakland County, Michigan?
Yeah.
All right. How far away from her house did you live?
About 5 minutes walking, a minute or two driving.
Okay, 5 minutes walking, a minute or two driving. And did you know her family well?
Yes.
All right, so you knew Konrad Imirowicz?
Yes.
Did you know Austin Imirowicz?
Yes.
What was your relationship with Austin Imirowicz?
We were friends.
Okay. I want to take you to October 1st, 2021. Were you still friends with Caleb, or with Megan then?
Yes.
All right. And how old were you at that time?
I was 17.
You were 17 years old?
Yes.
All right. Did Megan contact you that day?
Yes.
When was that?
It was started at 10 in the morning. She sent me a Snapchat photo of her crying, and I asked her what was wrong. And then she said that her dad got drunk, and she got upset, and she threw stuff at him.
Okay, so she sent you Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about Snapchat. How does it work?
You send a photo to someone, like you add them as a friend, and then you send a photo to someone, and it deletes after you send it, or you can hold it down, but it'll replay it one time. There's a new feature where you can save it in the chat too as well, but I didn't. Or I don't remember if I did or not, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. So you said you got a photo of her crying?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you talked to her then?
Yeah.
Okay, how did you converse with her?
I said that, what's wrong?
Well, let me ask you, did you send her a message?
Oh, yeah, I texted her on Snapchat.
Okay, and you said, what's wrong?
Yeah.
And then she said what?
She said that her dad got drunk and that he he didn't care because she had stuff to do today and she threw stuff at him.
Okay. Do you know what was special about that day?
It was her birthday.
Okay. She was supposed to have a party that night, is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So she was crying in that photo?
Yeah.
All right. Did she contact you again?
Yes.
When was that?
A few hours later, she asked me to drive her to her party.
Okay.
Or the hotel.
Did you go and pick her up then?
No.
Okay, why not?
I was in school and I didn't respond for a while, and then I said yes, and then she told me that she was going to get a ride from someone else.
Okay, so you weren't going to have to go pick her up?
No.
And then she contacted you again, right?
Yes.
When was that?
That was around 3:47 in the afternoon she called me.
Okay. And you talked to her on the phone then?
Yes.
How did she seem?
I don't know. Just normal.
Okay.
Pretty much.
She wasn't crying then, right?
No.
All right. So this was 3:47 on October 1st.
Yes.
What did she ask you to do?
She asked me to go over to the house and get the credit card information from her dad because it wasn't working when she was at the hotel.
Okay. So she was already at the hotel, to your understanding?
Yes.
All right. And the credit card was not working?
Yeah.
What did you do?
So I went over to the house.
All right. Did you ask her any questions about that?
No.
Okay. Were you about to leave anyway?
I was going to go to the hotel, so it was just going to stop by and then go.
All right. Now, you said you lived about 1 or 2 minutes away driving.
Yeah.
Did you drive or did you walk?
I drove.
Okay. Did you leave right away?
I took a few minutes to eat something and then...
Okay, and then you left.
Yeah.
So do you have an idea about what time you got to Konrad Imirowicz's house?
I don't.
Okay. Was it still afternoon?
Yes.
All right.
It was just a few minutes after.
Understood. And when you got there, what did you do?
I walked in.
All right. Was the door locked?
No.
All right. Is that common?
Yeah, I just used to always walk in the door.
Okay. And you said you've known this family for a while, right?
Yeah.
All right. You've been over the house many times?
Yeah.
The house was pretty messy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, it was, let's describe it as dirty.
Yeah.
And gross. Okay. So the condition of the home was not a surprise to you when you walked in?
No.
All right. When you walk in the house, the front door, is that where you went in?
Yes.
When you walk in the front door of the home, tell us what it looks like.
It's like you walk in and there's a little stand, and then to the left it's downstairs and to the right it's upstairs.
Okay, so it's like a split level home.
Yeah.
All right, so you walk in, you're on this landing of the stairway, is that right?
Yeah.
And then where did you go?
I went upstairs.
Why'd you go upstairs?
Because that's where Konrad is normally always like on the couch.
Okay. Where is the couch in relation to the stairwell?
It's, if you go up the stairs to the left is the living room, and then it's against the wall with the big window.
All right. So there's a big window behind that couch?
Yeah.
Where was Konrad when you went in?
He was sitting on the couch.
He was on the couch?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Judge, I'm showing the witness what I previously marked as People's Proposed Exhibits 1 and 2. Do you recognize those?
Yes.
What are they?
That's the couch, the blanket, a pillow.
Is this the couch that Konrad was on?
I believe so.
Okay. Is this fair and accurate?
Yeah.
Judge, I'd move to admit People's Proposed Exhibits 1 and 2.
No objection.
So admitted?
And then if I can use the screen.
Yes.
Go over.
Don't know where the sound went now. It'll probably be back any minute. Squally says, but if you're in a pretty blinding rage, would you notice? Oh, man.
All right, we'll stop talking when they resume talking, Michael. We're not sure what's happened with the sound. A young credit card.
Thank you. Where was Konrad on the couch?
He was, when you walked in, he was more towards the left of this couch.
So he was on this side
Yes.
of the couch? All right, so you're looking at him and he's more on the left side of the couch.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about how he was on the couch?
He was kind of leaned. I don't remember which way he was leaned, but he had like one leg crossed over the other. He wasn't clothed, but there was a blanket across his torso.
Okay, so he was naked.
Yeah.
All right. And you said he had one leg across the other. Do you recall which leg was across which leg?
I don't.
Okay. Was he awake?
Yes.
All right. When you came in, did you say anything to him?
I walked up the stairs and he said hello, and I said hello, because at first we didn't see each other because I was walking up the stairs.
Okay, so did he say hello when you opened the door, kind of
Yeah.
thing? Okay. When you got up the stairs, you saw him on the couch. How did he look?
He looked very bad. He looked very out of it. I didn't know what it was at the time, but it was like burns or blood or bruises or something on him.
Could you see that from where you were?
Yeah.
All right, so how far away were you on the couch when you first saw him?
About from me right here to like the desk right there.
Okay, the table?
Yeah.
8, 10 feet.
Judge, we're going to stipulate to be 8 to 10 feet.
Stipulated?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Does that sound accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not too far away?
No.
Okay. Where did you see the burns on him from where you were?
It looked like it was on his head, on his chest, on his hands, on his stomach. His legs looked very green.
Okay. You said green?
Yeah.
All right. How did that make you feel when you saw him that way?
Very ill. I started to panic because I had never seen anyone in a state like that before.
Did you know what had happened at that point?
No.
Okay. Did you say anything to him when you saw him that way?
Yeah, I said, "What's wrong?" And then he told me his hand hurt, and then that's when he reached it out, and all 5 of his fingertips were that red-purple color, and his fingernails had curled up.
Okay, his fingernails were actually curled back?
Yeah.
Okay. What were you thinking at this point?
I was like, I had no idea what had happened.
Okay. Were you scared?
Yeah.
Okay. You knew Mr. Imirowicz pretty well?
Yeah.
All right. You've been around him a lot?
Yeah.
Did you care about him?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were scared for him?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do then?
At that time, he asked me to look for his phone, and so he pointed to like the desk table area, like next to the couch, and so I tried to look for the phone, but I couldn't find it, and then I got a call from Megan.
Okay, so Megan called you at this point?
Yeah.
All right. How long had it been since you talked to her last?
Like, maybe 10 or 20 minutes. It was like the last time was when I was about to leave my house.
Okay.
All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear all about that really important second call from...
Okay, and we're going to go forward a little bit. I'm just busy checking the calendar, you guys, of exactly what the hell. I thought this is starting at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So if you see me looking to the side a lot, I'm just making sure of what's going on and why the Zoom link isn't active and all that kind of stuff, okay? So thank you all for being here. It's like a trial run of the trial. Trial run of trial time. Let's see if it all works out. Okay, so I'm just going to go forward a little bit here. There we go.
For the credit card number, because like that's what she wanted. And so he started saying the credit card numbers, and she said that they weren't working, and then she hung up.
Okay, so had you been able to speak to her at all, really?
Not really.
Okay, so you weren't able to tell her what happened to her dad at that point?
Not really. I didn't know what to say at the moment.
Okay. After she hung up with you, what happened?
I told him I would be right back. I stepped outside the house, and I started to like panic because, you know, I didn't know what to do. So I called my mom, and I told her what had happened. And then Megan had called me, and then that's when I told her something's wrong.
So let's stop for a second. You're outside, you're talking to your mom.
Yeah.
And then Megan calls again.
Yes.
And you pick up the phone.
Yes.
What did you tell her?
I said, Megan, something's wrong with your dad.
And what did she say?
She says, oh, he's just drunk, and then laughs.
She laughed?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you tell her anything else?
I was like, no, something is wrong.
And then what?
She told me to call Austin.
She said call Austin.
Yeah.
And who was Austin?
Her brother.
Okay. And what happened after she told you to call Austin?
I called Austin.
Did she hang up? Did you hang up?
I don't remember.
You don't call. Okay. So you called Austin then?
Yeah.
And what did you tell Austin?
I told him that something was wrong with his dad, and he told me to call 911.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you called 911 then?
Yes.
And what happened next?
That's when I was pacing up and down like the driveway because I didn't know what to do, you know, with the 911 operator until the EMTs showed up.
Okay, so the EMTs showed up.
Yeah.
Do you recall about how long that was?
It seemed like a while, maybe 15 minutes.
All right. And when they got there, what happened?
They asked me to move my car so the fire truck could fit in the driveway. And then they were asking me about the state of the house and if Konrad had any allergies to any medication, and I said I didn't know, I was just the neighbor.
Sure. And did they go inside?
Yes.
Did you go inside with them?
No.
All right. Did you see them bring Konrad out?
Yes.
When he came out, was he saying anything?
I don't remember.
Okay. Do you recall if he talked to you in Polish?
Yeah.
Does he know Polish?
He Yeah, I remember a while ago he told me that him and his mom would speak Polish and English to each other and just switch off.
All right. Do you speak Polish?
No.
Okay. Did you know what he was saying to you?
No.
Okay. Did you say anything to him when he came out?
No, I was far away.
Okay. What happened then? They put him in the ambulance?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Where did you go?
I went to the hospital with Lucas, Bella, and Austin.
Okay, so did Austin arrive at some point?
Yes.
And he came with other people?
Yes.
All right. Did you drive with them to the hospital?
Yes.
Which hospital did you go to? Do you recall?
I think it was the... It starts with a G. It was the...
Was it Genesis Ascension?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. Is that the hospital you went to?
Yeah.
When did you get there?
I'm not sure. We took off right when the ambulance did.
Okay, so you didn't stay at the house, right?
No.
When you were at the hospital, how long were you there?
I felt like a few hours because we had to go get food and stuff. It had gotten dark.
All right, so it was already dark and stuff now, so you were there for a while.
Yeah.
Did you talk to Megan again?
Yeah, she called me when we were at the hospital, and so I answered. And I told her we were at the hospital, and she hung up on me.
Okay. Did you tell her why you were at the hospital?
No.
Okay. Did she say anything to you when she called?
I don't remember.
Okay. Did you say anything to her?
I told her that we were at the hospital and your dad's in the hospital.
Okay, so you told her dad was in the hospital.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry, just what you remember. Okay. So you told her your dad was at the hospital and then she hung up.
Yeah.
You don't recall if she said anything to you?
No, she didn't say anything.
Okay, she didn't say
Just
anything.
hung up.
All right. Did you go back to the house at any point?
I had to go get my car.
Okay, so when did you do that?
My dad drove me to the house. I got my car and then I left.
Was that the same day?
Yes.
All right. Did you ever go back to the house after that?
No.
Did anyone ask you to go back to the house?
Yes.
Who asked you to go back to the house?
This guy named Conrad, or not Connor, I'm sorry.
Connor. Okay.
Connor.
Who was Connor?
It was Megan's ex-boyfriend, friend type of thing.
What did he ask you to do?
He asked me to go get her phone from her bed.
Okay. Did he tell you why he wanted you to do that?
No.
All right. Did you do that?
No.
Okay. You never went back to the house after that?
No.
Did you ever talk to Konrad Imirowicz again?
I did after he got out of the hospital, like back in February, March.
It's like when he came home?
Yeah.
That was right before he died, right?
Yes.
Okay. One second, Josh. I don't have anything else, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, sir?
Thank you. You said you were friends with Megan and Austin and...
Okay, so we are watching the first witness. That was actually yesterday. It was opening statements, jury selection, opening statements, and then the first witness, Kayla Bousquette, a friend of the defendant, Megan Imirowicz. She's now 19, Megan, and she's on trial for dousing her dad with drain cleaner, of which those injuries allegedly caused him to die, is what they're saying, in the hospital. He was in the hospital for like 5 months. Whoa. And then he passed away. So she's been charged with DV and that misdemeanor of dousing him with the drain cleaner. So let's see what happens in this trial. At the moment, I'm trying to see, like, yesterday they also struggled with the Zoom link. So where is it? Okay, because Michigan is Eastern time, so it's already quite late there, in my opinion, right? Michigan right now, it's like almost 10:30 in the morning. And they're supposed to be starting at around 8:30 in the morning from what I'm gathering, and I saw somewhere that today is like at 10. So I don't know what's going on, but that's why we're here together as members figuring it out, okay? Like, what's the court doing? I hope that it will be live on Zoom at some point so that we can actually watch it together. So yeah, this is the thing. Alexander says it does sound like a horrible passing. Either way, a painful way to go. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what else I got to say here.
Mr. Imirowicz, correct?
Yes.
You'd known them for several years?
Yes.
Okay. You ever been to the house before this?
Yes.
And the house was, looked in pretty bad shape with stuff all over the place.
Yes.
All right. Is that the way it was before this?
Yeah.
So the house was always pretty messy?
For as long as I've known, yes.
Okay. And that's 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
All right. On the day Megan called you at, what, 10 o'clock in the morning?
No, she sent me a Snapchat of her crying at 10 in the morning. She called me around 3:47.
All right. So she sent you the Snapchat
Yeah.
at 10.
Yeah.
Did you talk to her on the phone that time?
No, I just texted her. I didn't call her.
So it was just a text?
Yeah.
Did she text you back?
Yeah.
Do you remember what she said, if anything?
She said that she threw stuff at her dad because she got upset.
Okay. And that's it?
And then a while ago, like a few hours after that, she asked me for a ride to the hotel.
All right. So sometime after that, she asked you for a ride to the hotel?
Yeah.
Do you remember what time that was?
It was probably around 1-ish. I was still in school, but it had been a few hours after.
Okay. All right. And you talked to Mr. Imirowicz, Konrad, before, correct?
Yeah.
How often did you see him?
Almost every time I went over to the house.
And how often was that?
A lot. Maybe once a week.
Okay. Did he have a drinking problem?
I know he drank a lot. But
I'm sorry.
I know he drank a lot, but I don't know if he had a problem or not.
You know he was a heavy drinker then, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Had you seen him drunk before?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right, that's understandable. Okay, so around 1 o'clock on that date, we're
Yeah.
trying to gather in, did you get a call or a text from Megan?
A text.
All right, and that was talking about picking her up?
Yeah, she asked me to come take her to the hotel.
All right. Did you ever respond to that text?
A while after, I said yes. And then she said she was going to get someone else to take her.
All right, so you got a text at some point, you were in school.
Yeah.
A couple hours later, you responded to it?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she responded that she got somebody else to cover it,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
All right. So you arrived at the house on that fateful day. You walked in, you started up the stairs, correct?
Yes.
Did you said hello to Konrad first going up the stairs?
Yeah.
And he responded?
He said hello, and then I responded with hello.
Okay, so you walked in, you heard the door open, and he said hello, correct?
Yeah.
You walk up the stairs, you said hello, correct?
Yeah.
All right. You get up the stairs, and you observe him.
Yeah.
Kind of a shocking situation, wasn't it?
Yes.
Not fun at all. All right. Do you remember what you said to him?
I said, what was wrong?
And
I said, what's wrong?
What was his response?
He said my hand hurt, and then put his hand out.
All right. His hand looked pretty bad, didn't it?
Yes.
Okay. He didn't have any clothes on, correct?
No.
Was he lying down or sitting up?
He was sitting up, but leaning to his side.
Okay, and he had a blanket on.
Yes.
All right. You were kind of in shock, right?
Yeah.
You asked him, should I call somebody?
No.
What did you do?
I started looking for his phone because he asked me to look for his phone.
And you didn't find it?
No.
You called Megan back at some point?
She called me.
Okay. You didn't tell her dad was in bad shape at that point, the first time?
No.
All right. You went outside then?
Yeah. After he had given, like, the credit card numbers.
Okay. You called your mom?
Yeah.
And then you called Austin?
No, Megan called me after I called my mom.
And then you called Austin?
Yeah.
And then you waited for the ambulance to show up?
Yes.
Okay. And you never went back in the house then, did you?
No.
You saw Mr. Imirowicz then just prior to his death?
A few days before.
Did you talk to him at all?
Yeah.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I don't know what the hell is happening with the courts, but there's obviously media in there. So let's watch it on Law and Crime. Where's the sound at?
10 to 15 minutes. Probably left the house?
Yes.
I do not recall.
Do you remember
It
what
was
time?
probably 10 to 15 minutes later.
All right. Do you know what time you arrived at the
No,
hospital?
I do not.
Okay. Now,
We coded to the hospital.
Don't know what
Priority
this
one.
witness's name
I'm
is.
sorry.
We coded to the hospital, Priority 1, lights and sirens to the hospital.
Okay, all right.
Just to get them.
I boosted the sound. Even though now there's no sound.
Was it bag trash?
Some of it was bag trash, some of it was just laying around.
And you indicated there were...
I'd say the majority of it was bag trash, yes.
Okay. And you'd indicated there were cats in the house?
Yes.
Did you observe any?
Yes.
Any idea how many?
I think I saw at least 3.
Now,
Like, why does the sound keep going off? For the questions. We want to hear the questions.
See them flying around in the room.
so there were a lot of fleas around?
Well, this there was. Yeah. And if I may, when we got to the hospital, the patient stated that he had set off a flea bomb the day before, but stayed in the house. So that we were considering that as a possible cause, but I deduced that if it was the case from that flea bomb that caused it, his lungs would have been burned, and his lung sounds were fine. So I pretty much ruled that out at that time.
Okay. And you also...
I don't remember exactly. I think they were a pair of shorts and like a T-shirt, but it's almost 2 years ago, so I don't
I
really
understand.
remember it.
Okay. You indicated he was intoxicated?
He appeared to be intoxicated, yes.
You didn't do any measurements or anything with that?
We don't have any way of measuring that.
All right. You just took him to the hospital, right?
Correct.
All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
So you can hear the court's audio is like in and out and in and out. But anyway, we're watching this together. Welcome, welcome. This is day 2 of the trial.
His skin that
Let's
badly,
see how it goes.
it would have affected his lungs.
Okay. Do you know what a flea bomb is?
Yeah. It's I mean, same thing we buy at the store just to kill all the bugs in the house.
How does it work?
Push the lever on top. It sprays a chemical into the air. You're supposed to evacuate when you do that.
So that's like an aerosol can, right?
It is. Yeah.
So it creates stuff, a gas, basically.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And so if he was inhaling the gas...
Correct.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Love it when the sound goes out at critical times from Law and Crime Network. But here we are. Okay. If the Zoom link does work out, we'll switch to that.
They were going to obviously do an X-ray or whatever
They were going to take a look at it.
Yes.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have any questions?
It's very frustrating. Listen, court, if you're watching, can you get your ish together? And now this
Of course, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Yeah, proceed, Judge.
Yes, please.
employed, sir?
I am a registered nurse at Ascension Genesis in Grand Blanc, Michigan, in the emergency department.
How long have you been a nurse?
14 years.
Have they been all at Ascension Genesis?
No, I worked at McLaren Flint's emergency department for 4 years prior to coming to Genesis.
Okay. Was that also in the ER?
Correct.
Okay.
I did my associate's degree for nursing at Delta College up in Saginaw, and then I'm basic life support trained, advanced life support trained. I have certifications in trauma certifications for our ENPC as well, or TNCC, as well as pediatric trauma as well. I was also critically care trained when I became employed at Ascension Genesis.
Okay. And what was your position then?
I was just staff nurse in charge of I was assigned to the trauma rooms.
So what's your duties there? What do you do?
I take in all of the level traumas, anywhere from level 1 traumas all the way to level 3, and then depending on if my coworkers need assistance, I assist with them as well.
Now, what's more serious, level 1 trauma or level 3 trauma?
Level 1.
Level 1, okay. Do you recall a patient? Why do you recall him in particular?
It was a pretty unique case. I remember it was a few hours before my shift was ending, and we got the call about a possible burn coming in. And even before Groveland brought the patient in, the paramedics approached me and were like, hey, we should probably take a look at this guy because we don't know what's the cause of these burns, because we were concerned about possible chemical or some type of chemical exposure. So
okay, so I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
Did he come? Did you have?
No, I'm not sure if we actually activated a level for this, to be honest with you.
Okay, why not?
I don't recall.
Okay. So what happened?
So I'm like, I said, absolutely, let's go take a look. And I kind of looked the extent of the burns. I'm like, okay, let's get him into the trauma room, and then get the physician in there to assess him, and then kind of proceeded with the care. After
I'm going to interrupt you again. I'm sorry. When you were examining,
it was in the EMS ambulance garage area, I do believe.
Okay. And when you examined him, was he wearing anything?
He was dressed. I think he just had t-shirt and pants on, I think.
All right. Did you see any injuries to him?
I saw extensive burns, a lot to the forearms and then face and head.
Okay. Did you?
Not extensively as much as when we got him undressed, but I did notice burns to his lower extremities, yes.
Okay. What happened after you examined him in the ambulance garage?
I promptly told him, let's get him into the trauma bay and get him undressed and on the monitor, and then I went and got the physicians on duty that day.
All right. And what happened then?
Started getting him undressed, obtain IV access. The physician at the time said that we should decon this patient, meaning we don't know what the offending agent is, so we put him into our decontamination room and started rinsing the patient down for any type of chemical materials or anything like that.
Had you ever done that before?
No, actually I haven't.
So 15 years, this is your first time?
Correct.
Okay. Did that have any kind of effect on him?
It was uncomfortable. And, the water's warm, but with burns and all that, the deep burns aren't necessarily as painful, but the surrounding tissue around that's quite painful.
I want to stop you there.
Yeah.
You said the deep burns are not...
With full thickness burns, as we classify them, the nerve endings are damaged to where they're not functioning anymore. But with all burns, it's not solely just a full thickness burning. It'll go from full thickness burn into most worst part, then it'll kind of progress out to deep partial thickness and superficial, and the surrounding tissue around the deepest burns still have active nerve endings and cause quite a bit of pain.
Okay. But the deepest ones themselves don't have those neuro
Typically,
endings?
no.
Okay. And you said some of these burns were pretty deep.
He had quite a bit, like on the top of the head, and I want to say right lower leg. I recall being some of the worst ones, and then left forearm as well, I believe. So I've seen, yes, but not from, not in my nursing career. I was a paramedic as well, and so I've seen like house fire burns that weren't that bad.
Okay.
I really just with any patient, just making sure we have a patient.
I'm just going to pause it there. Okay, so this is a live trial. We've gone back a little bit. The court is seemingly struggling with making it available on Zoom as they said they would. So what we're doing now is watching day 2 of this trial, which just started. Okay, we're a few minutes behind. We will catch up. I'll put it at 1.25 speed. So yes, the sound going in and out is from the court feed as well. So at least we have some visuals and some audio, but it's not ideal. It is live. It's a trial that I've just recapped at the start of the stream, as well as looking at opening statements and the first witness from yesterday. Yesterday, the court also struggled to make the Zoom stream available. So that wasn't able to be looked at, but we looked at it at the beginning of the stream. So if you want a case recap, look in the description box or go back to the beginning of the stream, watch on 1.5 speed. Hopefully you'll catch up. We started this off as a members only stream, just to see, what's the court doing today? Where will it be available? Because yesterday for hours and hours and hours, it just wasn't available. I was keeping an eye on it for a long time. So we're looking at Megan Imirowicz's trial. She's 19 years old now, on trial for dousing her dad, who was napping, but he was passed out drunk. But yes, so they're calling it the sleeping dad trial, murder trial. She's not charged with murder though. She's charged with DV and also with dousing him with this chemical. He died 5 months later in the hospital from these injuries from the chemical burns. This happened in Michigan. It happened on October 1st, 2021. And he died, as I say, 5 months later. And then Megan was arrested and now she's on trial. Okay, so afternoon, good evening, morning, whatever it is for you, welcome everyone. We are thankfully able to see it a little bit on YouTube, but I'm continue to look at the Zoom link to see if the court actually does eventually manage to have really great audio, really great visuals that we can watch here together. But for now, let's watch this.
Paid airway, we go like airway, breathing, circulation are like the primary for any type of.
I'm putting on 1.25 speed so that we can catch up to the very live trial that's happening now.
Assessment. And he was conscious, he was maintaining his own airway. He was talking to us a little bit. He was uncomfortable during the decontamination, and then also becoming cold because you lose your ability to thermoregulate when you have such profound burns. Your skin can't keep heat in, so you can get pretty cold pretty quick.
Now, you said he was
moaning. He wasn't necessarily crying out at this time, but he was moaning and stating that he was it hurt when we were wiping him down, and then he was shivering a little bit from the decontamination.
Okay. What were the next steps?
Dried him off, got him back into the trauma room, and then.
Okay, so this, what I gathered, I didn't get his name, this witness. As soon as I have the names, I will put it up on the screen, as I always do with trials. But it was a nurse that attended to the victim in this case, which would be Megan Imirowicz's dad, right? And he was sitting for hours on the couch at home, very drunk, didn't realize the chemical burns and things were happening. And so eventually, when a neighbor found him, he was in a terrible state and he was taken to the hospital, right? So the nurse is describing what he was wearing, what he saw, what his injuries were. So that's what we're looking at now. And just know that this is like officially, yesterday was jury selection and opening statements, the first witness. So this is like the official first day of the live trial. And so hopefully over the week, as it usually does with trials, the audio will improve. Normally these things iron themselves out. So let's continue being optimistic about the court feed.
Back onto the monitor. I started asking him what was going on, what happened, and he originally stated that he's like, oh, well, I did bomb my house, used like an insecticide bomb a couple days ago. He's like, maybe that's what caused this. And
what did you do based on that information?
After he was hooked up to the monitor and I started doing fluid resuscitation, I contacted poison control about the exposure to a possible insecticide. My discussion with poison control, she stated that it's not typical of like an aerosol pesticide to cause any type of like chemical burn or anything like that. It's mostly just respiratory irritations, difficulty breathing. Can provoke worsening like asthma symptoms and stuff like that. So she stated.
I'm going to stop you so I can.
Correct.
Okay. So then what?
She said what I was describing was more like an alkalytic type burn. After I got off the phone with Poison Control, I reported my findings, or what I spoke with from Poison Control to the physicians, and I received no further orders at that time.
Okay, I'm going to stop you here again. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to flip through a few pages here. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Okay, what is this?
It's the patient's electronic health record.
Okay, so these are his medical records?
Correct.
Okay. And how do medical records work at your hospital?
Well, we have a electronic health record that we enter in data such as like the HPI or like history of present illness, kind of going over how the patient originally presents, and then we typically include like PERT positives and PERT negatives, meaning like PERT positives, like what we objectively see that would kind of point us towards like a differential diagnosis, and PERT negatives meaning that like it's not likely for other differential diagnoses. And then we enter in vitals where we where our IVs are accessed, medications administrations, and then any other pertinent information regarding to the patient status, whether if we contact the main physician for orders or if there's a change in the patient status.
Now, this is something that all medical personnel are required to do, correct?
Correct.
And this is part of your ordinary course of business?
Correct.
And you make it as close to the time that you actually did the action as possible, is that correct?
Best of our abilities.
Okay.
If I could, just quick briefly question.
So,
No. The physicians enter their portion in, and then whoever else is consulted enter their portion in.
And those.
I don't understand.
Did you take a look at the record?
The sound goes out at the worst times. Yes, this happened in Oakland County, Michigan. I'm busy emailing the court now just to let them know that, one, the Zoom link is not happening. It's not happening, people. And then two, the sound provided here by, this is on Law and Crime Network, is intermittent. It's so annoying. I'm frustrated like you. Okay, but thank you for being here. We are watching at 1.25 speed to catch up to the live trial. We don't have much. I think it's about 6 minutes to catch up. So we'll be there in no time.
Correct.
You don't really know if they're accurate or not, but you believe that they are?
I do.
Okay. I'll have no objection.
So admitted?
thank you. These medical records are made by...
I believe I did.
Okay. And after you talked to them, you had said you had no further instructions for a little bit.
Correct.
What happened next?
I went back to assess my patients. I recall I only had a very small gauge IV access at that time. And with burn patients, fluids resuscitation is quite important because you lose quite a bit of fluid through the burns, and then just through the patient's inability to, through cell destruction, you lose intracellular fluid. So we follow what's called the Parkland fluid resuscitation to keep the patient's vascular system intact.
Were you able to stabilize him?
I didn't get another IV like I wanted to, but his vitals were stable at the time.
Okay. At some point, did you allow him to see visitors?
Yes, two gentlemen came in. I believe they were both sons.
Okay. Did you...
They did.
Were you present when they were talking to visitors?
I was.
Can you tell us what they were talking about?
They were trying to discuss, like most of us, what had happened. At this point, the patient did seem slightly more responsive than when he first came in, discussing with that he remembered his daughter throwing a white powder on him when he was on the couch.
So you heard him say this?
I did.
Okay. Did you also?
I believe so.
Okay, that's interesting that this guy, the nurse, says he heard him say that because in the opening statements, the defense said that the victim, the dad, her dad, Megan Imirowicz's dad, Konrad, who I can't find any pictures of him online, you're right, for whoever said that earlier, but he said he doesn't even remember. He didn't even say that she threw anything on him. But this is interesting. They're saying he did. Okay.
Okay. Can I use a screen, Judge?
Yes. Yes. Juror seat number 1, can you please turn off the first 3 lights closest to the door? Thank you.
Okay, it's still warming up a little bit, but can you see that, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm showing on the screen what's been previous exhibits 14, page 91 of that. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes.
What is that?
It's like a patient update in his medical record.
Okay. Now, I've highlighted 2 portions here. Can you tell us who made those portions?
I would myself.
Okay. And the first word is PT in the top one there. What does PT stand for?
Patient.
Okay. And what is your note there?
Patient recently recalls that the patient's daughter had thrown something on the patient. Oakland County was called about the alleged assault.
Okay. And what about the one at the very top here? I have my cursor on it over
Sure.
here.
That's just like kind of like a basic, like what I would like a HPI of just how the patient presents.
I'm going to stop you there. What does HPI stand for?
History of present illness.
Okay. So that's kind of what he's there for, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Wish we could see them ask the questions. We could even try
Showers.
to breathe.
Patient had dark skin sloughing from the tips of his fingers, blistered legs, top of the head, and on upper arms.
I want to ask you about one word here. You said blistered legs. Is that bilateral? Is it too little small to see? Judge, can you approach the screen?
Yes, absolutely, sir. You can step down and go closer if you need to.
I would say with me saying legs, it would presume bilaterally.
Okay. And what does that mean in this instance?
Both left and right legs were burned.
All right. And then the next. Oh, and what does sloughing mean? Sloughing of the tips of his fingers?
Sloughing. Just like the skin is just kind of coming off.
Okay.
Like as we kind of like wiped, skin would come off with each intentional wipe of the skin.
Is that typical of burns?
Yeah.
Okay. The next note here that's indicated.
Was called, and for poison control, pesticide homes normally present with respiratory distress. Poison control recommended standard tox screening and standard burn protocols. Dr. Gamble was informed and will continue to monitor the patient.
Okay. And then the next one down there is the one where you wrote that you had heard him recall that his daughter had thrown some chemicals on.
Correct.
Okay. And that indicates that you called Oakland County.
I think I called Genesee County, who then transferred me to Oakland
Okay.
County.
And when you say called, what did you call?
I did 911.
Okay. Is that part of your job?
All assaults are reported.
Okay, so you said all assaults. Did you
Correct.
think this was an assault now?
It did.
Okay. Based on what?
Based on the patient arrived with alteration in skin and stated that something was thrown onto him without his consent. So I take that as an assault.
Okay.
This court audio will drive us nuts. Well, welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you'll follow this case with me. Let's see what happens this week, and let's hope it all improves. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and try to spell the name right. Megan Imirowicz, okay? Hashtag Megan Imirowicz.
Hi, my name is David. I'm a nurse at Ascension Genesis in Grand Lake, Michigan. Calling to report a possible assault on my patient.
Okay.
My patient's name is Konrad, Konrad. Last is Imirowicz. He's a 34-year-old male patient with the date of birth of August 11th, 1957, arrived via EMS with multiple chemical burns across his body. When he first arrived, he said that he thought maybe this was from a bug spray. Upon further investigation, the gentleman stated that his daughter had thrown some substance on him, possibly causing these burns.
Okay.
And just I'm stopping there because the remainder of the call is not admissible.
Thank you.
Is that what you told him?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear him say anything else about what had happened?
I don't recall.
Okay. Anything else, Judge?
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Thank you. 90 back up. Sure. Start with that. All right, sir. On the bottom part, you testified that he said a white powdery substance. You didn't put that in your report, did you?
Appears that I did not.
Okay. That would be important, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
So, but that's not in the report, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you're remembering that today?
That's what I remember, yes.
Okay. But you didn't put it in back then, correct?
I did not.
All right. He was intoxicated too, correct?
Yes.
Did you do any tests on that?
I don't remember.
Okay. Can you pull up just 50, I think?
Yeah, just 1 second. Let's go ahead. Yeah, put both those pages on this one if that's...
Okay, yeah, I've got new glasses coming in a week, and these are a little tough.
Here, give me a minute. I'll pull it for you. You want the 51 first?
Yeah, you can pull up 50 first, just in case.
Where you want these? Okay.
All right, that's better. All right. This indicates his blood alcohol.
Okay, we're almost all caught up here for the live trial. You say, so powder, not liquid, says Gemini. Well, powder mixed with water. So, yeah.
Alcohol level is 355 mg/dl. What's that mean?
355 milligrams per deciliter.
All right. Now, being an attorney and not a doctor, I'm used to having him put it as a breathalyzer. Do you know what that would be if it was a breathalyzer?
Typical breathalyzer is anything over 0.80 is above, the legal limit. So that would put him at like 3.55.
3.55?
Yeah, like on a breathalyzer.
Okay, you're going to have to explain that to me a little better, all right?
Best of my knowledge, it's the concentration of how a breathalyzer measures the alcohol being exhaled versus being a blood. So, like say, if this was a breathalyzer, typically you just carry the decimal point 2 places to the left, and it'd be like 3.55 on a breathalyzer.
Or 0.355, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Judge, can I ask a question? I mean, should we ask him if he knows the formula?
Do you know the formula and how to...
I don't know the formula.
Okay,
It's
so
just,
you're guessing.
It's just from my experience.
Okay, just from your experience. He was fairly well intoxicated then, correct?
Correct.
And he wasn't feeling any pain. Well, he was feeling pain, but it was not as much as you'd expect from a burn patient.
It's fair to say.
All right. Could you pull up the other page? Sure.
I just want to answer. A. Heinemann says, but the father told the nurse that she threw powder on him. He didn't say water or liquid. He didn't say it, but in the opening statements and in the case files, they're saying that it was the lye, which is sodium hydroxide, mixed with water, which actually increases the temperature. It can go up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit when mixed with water. And so they're saying that's what caused those severe burns, not just the powder sitting on his body, right? So that's what we know so far. Please, guys, be kind, okay, to everyone, to each other, to the defendant in this case as well. We yet to see. We want to see if more facts, right? We're only learning what's happening as we go with this trial as more information comes out. And also, of course, to the victim. Okay, so we don't know, for instance, that she stole his credit card. Maybe he gave her his credit card and that she always used it to shop and maybe look after the house and things like that, seeing as he sounds like he struggled with alcoholism, for instance. So just chill, okay, on the blame. So Kathleen R says, thank you for your chat, super sticker. Seems like he would have said she threw a liquid on me, not a powder on me. Right? But do we know? Do we know? So we're going to find out more.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, and again on this page, he does drink alcohol, and he attempted to get rid of the fleas in his house by using a bug bomb. It doesn't say what day he did that, does it?
No, sir.
Let's see. Actively intoxicated, you put as well, correct?
This would probably be the physician's charting.
Okay. So you didn't write that note?
No. That's Dr. Warby's HPI and review of systems.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Just quickly, who's Dr. Warby?
She would be the attending ER physician that was on the case.
All right. Was she in the room with you when later on Konrad was talking to his sons?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, do you have any questions? Okay, you may step down. Your excuse as a witness.
Thank you. Judge, people are going to call Austin Imirowicz. Austin, call me.
I think they said Austin Imirowicz, so we'll listen to that now. Jamie then says, I know he was most definitely probably a great dad, but really don't like when they victim blame. So we're not here to victim blame, and in this case, this is a teenage girl. She was 18 at the time. I know that at 18 you're an adult, but let's just see what more, if there's more information coming out. We don't want to victim blame or defendant blame at this point, of course. We don't want to blame anyone. She's innocent until proven guilty. She hasn't been charged with his murder. She's been charged with domestic violence, and also, I'll get the terminology. It's in my description box as well. The misdemeanor of dousing him with chemicals, right? But we can't also say that he was most definitely probably a great dad. We don't know that because he was struggling with alcoholism. And this is what I would think is her frustration. We don't know what the implications of that are because sometimes it can be quite devastating, So we're on the neutral fence. Thank you so much, Nubian Max. Really appreciate it. And as I say all the time, the court feed is actually intermittent. Okay, it's not on my side, thankfully.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, ma'am.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
I, Austin Imirowicz.
Thank you. And can you just turn around for your oath, please?
Under penalty of perjury, you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give forth the story is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do this, ma'am.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Sure. I mean, we're gonna. Can you please state and spell your name?
Do you want the lights back on?
We can do it for a while, Judge, but you have some photos I am going to display at some point.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor.
Yes, please.
Thank you. Can you please state and spell your name for the records?
Austin Imirowicz, AUSTINIROWICZ.
And Mr. Imirowicz, do you know Konrad Imirowicz?
I do. That was my father, yes.
That was your father. And your father is deceased now, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you know Megan Imirowicz?
I do. That would be my sister.
Okay. Do you see her in court today?
Yep, she's to the right, yes, sir.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
She's to the right, yes, sir. My bad.
To your right?
Yeah, to your right, or my right.
This is my left.
Your left, sorry.
It's okay. You're a little nervous.
Yeah.
It's okay. Judge asked the record reflect the witness and identify the defendant.
No objection.
So noted.
Thank you. Yeah, and if you can speak up for us, that's okay.
Yes,
do your best. Thank you. Where were you living around October 1st, 2021?
I was living around October. I was living out in Pontiac, off of Stanley.
Okay, so you weren't living with your father at that time?
In October, no.
Okay. Who was living with your father?
In October, it was still my father and Megan.
Okay.
I was still visiting, though.
Okay. You still had a room at the house?
I'd given my room to him, but I was more so like visiting for the day, and then he was taking me home or to work. But
all right. Where was Megan's room in the house?
Megan's room in the house was, so if you walked up the stairs and you went right, it'd be right across the hall, so it was on the second floor to the right.
All right, so like when you walk in your house, it's a split level, right? Yes. So you walk in the landing, there's the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You go up the stairs, to the left is the living room with the couch.
Yep.
And to the right down the hallway is Megan's room.
Yep, Megan's room, and then to the left was the bathroom, and to the right was my room.
Okay. I'm going to take you to October 1st, 2021. You came to be aware that something happened that day, right? Did you get a phone call from Kayla?
Yes. No, yes, sorry. I did get a phone call from Kayla that day.
Okay. And that's Kayla Bousquette?
Yes, sir.
And what was your relationship with Kayla at the time?
As a neighbor. She was a friend of the neighbor.
Okay. You'd known her for a while?
Yeah, I'd known her since freshman year, I believe.
Okay. And you were already graduated by then?
I had just graduated.
Just graduated. Right. So she called you. How did she sound on the phone?
She sounded kind of confused and concerned. She had told me how that she had thought my dad had an accident or something. I had asked her, like, what do you mean? Like, you know, what's he look like? She had mentioned how he's kind of covered in, like, black something, or not sure if it was, like, not sure how it was described, but, like, he didn't look well.
Okay.
And then I had told her to call the ambulance and that I was on my way.
All right. Now, she was upset on the phone, you said?
Like, concerned. She seemed just more concerned, yes, sir.
Okay. What were you thinking when she was describing to you what she was seeing?
I thought that maybe he had just had an injury, or maybe he had fallen or something like that. I wasn't expecting to see what I had seen when I got there. That's
okay.
What you're asking.
And you said you left then?
Yes, I was on my way to go meet her after I had told her to call for an ambulance and police. I was on my way with my roommate, Lucas, who was driving me out there.
Okay. Was there anyone else with you and Lucas?
It was me, Lucas, Bella, and Chase, I believe.
Okay. And who are Bella and Chase?
Bella was also a roommate at the time, Lucas's girlfriend. Chase was also a roommate at the time, a good homie of all of us.
Okay. How far was it from where you lived to the home here? To your father's home?
To the old house?
Yes.
I'd say 15, 20, but no further, really.
Okay. Did you leave right away?
I did leave right away, yes. Actually, as soon as she described that he looked like he was black and covered in something, I had started throwing out my shoes as I was talking to her on the phone, and then I got in the car and left.
Okay. Everyone else came with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. When you got to the house, what did you see? When you first pulled up?
Well, when I first pulled up, I had seen, if I remember correctly, I believe there was an ambulance already. We had gotten there, walked up, and he was like, just all black and like burned.
Okay, so you said he. Are you talking about your father now? Is that a yes?
Yes.
You got to keep your voice up if you can. I know it's
yes,
hard.
Sir.
Was he already outside?
He was on his way getting transported outside in a stretcher.
Okay.
But he was like, he looked black. He looked a bit burned or whatever. And
all right, so you.
Sounds like he looked very hectic. Dr. Shrinker says, I can't believe you would sympathize with the defendant. I'm surprised. There's no reason an 18-year-old should rage because she can't have a potty. Well, we don't know that she was raging because she couldn't have a potty. We don't know what was going on in this house. We don't know if it was a DV household, if it was an abusive household by any means. We don't know anything. That's why I'm on the neutral fence. I'm not sympathizing with the defendant just to be like, oh, shame, the poor little, 18-year-old at the time. Not at all. I'm just like, whoa, we need to hear all the information. I would highly recommend checking out the Sally Challen case just to know how cases can sometimes go and what, speculatively, possibly abusive households could do, right? And what that could lead to, and coercive control and all this kind of stuff. So we just got to chill. We got to wait to see what more information comes out, right? And then, of course, it's up to the jury. And she is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. We're busy watching the trial live. But yes, I'm on the neutral fence, as I've said many times throughout the street.
You could see his injuries?
yes, sir.
Did you try and talk to him at that point?
I did. Actually, I tried talking to him. I'd asked him what had happened. He just had told me that he was fine. He doesn't know, as they were loading him into the ambulance. And then I further talked to him a bit more when we first got to Genesis.
Okay, we'll get there. What did you think when you saw some of these injuries on him that first time?
I mean, to be honest with you, sir, there's not really a good, not really something I formulated in my head. I was kind of more just shocked, and like, whoa, like what had happened.
Okay. When you were talking to him there and he said he was fine, how did he sound to you?
He sounded normal, which to me was a bit surprising considering how he had looked. But he sounded normal. He was happy. He was him. I mean, he was normal.
Okay. And they put him in the ambulance and then they left, is that right?
Yes, and then we followed that.
Okay. Did you go in the house first?
I had gone in the house real quickly once to go and see, like, maybe if there was something I could see to would have happened or something, but, yeah.
Okay. And when you went to the ambulance, or went to the hospital, that was Ascension Genesis, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How long were you there before you got to talk to your dad?
Ooh.
Roughly, if you recall.
Roughly, it wasn't that long. I'd have to say maybe like at most 25-minute wait. I'd gotten in there pretty quick to it, speaking to him and be talked to by the nurse.
Okay. When you got there, did you go in first or did somebody else go in first? To see your dad?
No, I believe I was the first one in with Lucas to see him.
With Lucas, you said? Yes. Okay. And who is Lucas?
Lucas is an old friend.
Okay. How long have you known Lucas?
Known Lucas since high school.
Okay. Was he over at your house a lot?
Yes.
Okay. And so you went in with Lucas to talk to your father?
Yes, sir.
When you were in there, what did you guys talk about?
I'd asked him what had happened, if he had known, like, because he had told me that, hang on. I asked him what had happened. I told him, like, you don't look all right. He had told me that he had just set off a bug bomb or something. Lucas and I had both agreed and told him, like, Dad, a bug bomb doesn't do this to you. And that was it, because for the rest, he had insisted that that's what it was. He couldn't remember anything else. He had told us that, like, he was fine. He said he just had, like, one drink and went to bed, so that was it. And that was the last thing he remembered.
So he told you had one drink and gone to bed?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall him saying anything about Megan?
I don't. I know before, if I'm allowed to backtrack.
Well, yeah, answer the question, I guess.
Oh.
Do you recall if he said anything about Megan?
No, not at that time, no.
Okay. Not at that time. Did he say anything about Megan another time?
I had heard that before.
Well, heard from whom?
Kayla.
Okay. We're not going to talk about what Kayla told you.
Okay.
But you didn't recall everything he told you? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You wrote out a written statement in this instance, right?
Yes.
Okay. That was closer in time to when this happened, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall when you wrote that written statement?
I believe, I know it was right after, in the same day that night after I had visited my dad, after we'd gotten to the other hospital, but I do remember writing that statement, yes, sir.
Fair to say that that incident was fresh in your memory then?
Yeah.
Judge, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Statement. Okay. All right. Do you think this might refresh your recollection?
Possibly, yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you to read your statement. And then when you're done reading it, just read quietly to yourself. When you're done, just put it face down and look up at me, please.
So there's lots of information on the screen here for you if you've got questions, okay? And as we say, the court audio is intermittent.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall your father telling you anything about Kayla, or Megan at that point?
No.
Okay. You wrote down something about that, though, didn't you?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Judge, I'm going to have to change my order of exhibits. At this one, I would move to admit this statement as a past recollection reported.
Mr. Miller?
No objection, Your Honor.
So admitted.
And this would be, just so we don't mess up all the order of all exhibits, Exhibit 19.
I have a 19. Is this Exhibit 20?
Sorry, yes, Exhibit 20. Thank
Okay.
you. Got stickers on there. All right. Also, I'm going to ask that you read your statement into the record, please.
Out loud?
Yes.
So I was at home. Then Kayla had called me at 6:58, letting me know my dad was in bad condition. I told her how to help him and to call the police, and rushed over when I got there. He was sober, conscious, but had the burns when they took him to the hospital. I then checked the spot where he was where he was there. There was blood and smell of some chemical at the hospital. My dad mentioned to me how stuff was thrown at him, like clothes, cans, hairspray, and he said he believes it was cleaning supplies.
You can reach page 2, sir.
He had trouble remembering. He also mentioned he bombed the house. Lucas and I asked if he was covering for Meg. That's when he stated 2. So when he stated Megan said she threw bread at him to my mom and grandma, but my dad said trash.
So he said that to my mom and grandma. So I'm not sure. I'm just listening, as you are, you guys. I'm listening and trying to absorb as much information as possible, right? This is not a trial that's like we know all the information from years and years of this going on. I've only just recently become aware of this case, and we all learning all these details together because not much was shared so far. So he said my mom and grandma. So the mother somewhere, right?
Clothes. Cans were thrown at him. He also said how him and Meg did fight but talked, then he went to bed and woke up like that to being put in an ambulance, and then stated he can't and couldn't remember as he was at the hospital, as he got emotional. Also, when I was at the hospital, Megan called knowing I was at the hospital and wasn't concerned about him, only asked about how to get his credit card to work. I told her I don't know and I don't care, I am at the hospital, and she got mad and hung up.
Okay. Again, that statement was made on the same day, correct?
Yes, sir.
Closer in time and better recollection at that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were talking to your dad there, how did you seem?
Scared. I'm going to be honest, scared.
Were you scared?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to lie, yeah.
Okay. You also talked to Megan that night, right?
Yep.
Okay, and that was encapsulated in your statement. Is that a yes?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So while you're at the hospital, you talked to Megan on the phone?
Yep.
Do you recall who called whom?
She had called me.
Okay, she called you.
Yes, sir.
What did she say to you when she called you?
She had called me and it had gone that she was asking about if I knew Dad's PIN or whatever. I told her no, why, because he's at the hospital, and that's when she was like, oh, and then just hung up, and that was it. Okay. That was the end of that phone call.
How did you feel about that?
I was angry.
Why?
To show no care at all, but, to dismiss something serious when...
All right. Now, while you were at the hospital, other people showed up, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Julie Conrad was one of those people?
Yes, sir.
And who is Julie Conrad?
My mother.
Okay. Was she and your father together at that time?
No.
Okay, they were divorced?
Yeah, have been for a very long time.
Okay. At some point you went back to the house, is that right?
I went back to the house later after getting approved with a group of roommates to get the cats, yes, sir.
Okay. And you were inside the house briefly, you said, when Konrad was being taken out?
Yes, I had gone in just for a second before following the ambulance, yes, sir.
Okay. In those times, what did you observe about the area where your father was?
There was some sort of white, whatever it was. I'm assuming it's safe to say it's probably a chemical. But there was just like a ton of it, white stuff all over the couch. And then next to the end of the couch, there was like, I think cleaning supplies or whatever, and then just a bunch of other junk.
Okay. 1 second, Judge.
Okay, so the reason I'm able to pause is because we're about 7 minutes behind the actual live stream, right? So we're watching it together. This trial is live happening today, and I can speed it up again if you want to attempt catching up again. But some of you were complaining, that's a little fast. So now we heard that it seems like there's white powder all over the place, so it probably was. And as Caroline was saying here, my first impression is of dry lye powder being tossed, followed by water, which activated the exothermic reaction. Maybe drunk sweat was enough, maybe a kind of liquid with H2O in it. Could be.
The witness would have previously marked as People's Exhibits 4 through 8, I believe. Yes, 4 through 8. May I approach?
Yes.
You have the list. Take a look at those for me. Do you recognize what's shown in those photographs?
I don't recognize it, no, sir, but I know that that is what was on the couch that I saw, yes.
Okay, so you don't recognize, you don't know what the bottle itself is? And
No,
stuff.
sir.
Okay, but are those photographs of your couch at the home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do those photos fairly and accurately depict what you saw when you were examining the scene that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Judge, I move to admit People's Pros Exhibits 4 through 8.
No objection.
So admitted.
And I'm going to put on the screen here, if that's all right.
Juror in seat number 1, can you turn off light 1, 2, and 3, please? Thank you.
She should get a raise for extra work.
Damn, they need perimeter lights, right? Okay, but they're going to show something. If I can show it, I will.
I'm showing People's Pros Exhibit 4. Austin, tell us what we're looking at here.
It's a couch, the blanket, and that's the white stuff that I saw from the bottle, and then above that's the window seal.
Okay. Now I'm gonna highlight something with my cursor here. Is this the bottle itself that you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me about the couch here? This is a brown couch, but there's some discoloration here, isn't there?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That I do not know. I had assumed that maybe it was from the white bottle, but that I don't know, and to this day I still don't.
Okay. Was the couch wet?
Not that I know of, no, sir.
Okay. Now, all right, moving on to the next one. This is just People's Exhibit 5. Now, the bottle's in a different location here, but is this what you saw that day?
Yes, sir.
Is that some of the white powder you were talking about?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever touch any of that stuff?
No.
Okay.
I left it in the same position it was the whole time until I believe it was finally later moved by what I'm assuming would be authorities.
Okay. In fact, you went with authorities to open the house for that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is another picture of that bottle. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and more of the white stuff on the couch?
Yep, that's still the couch too, yes, sir.
All right. And is that the bottle you saw?
Yeah, that's a bottle I saw. I'd never seen the front of it like that, but yes, sir.
Okay. Had you ever seen this stuff before in the house?
No, sir.
Okay. You were over there pretty often, right? You used to live there?
No, yeah, I lived there my whole life, actually. I knew about almost everything that we had, whether it was in the cabinet, bathroom, etc.
Okay. But you had never seen this before?
No. No,
All
sir.
right. And is this that same blanket?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, it has a red pattern on it, but can you tell me what this looks like to you here that I'm circling?
From here to me, other than the red pattern, it looks white. Some of that stuff.
Okay. And this here as well?
Yes, sir. Same with there. It just looks like it's a ball form or whatever.
Okay. Now, I'm going to unplug here for a moment. A couple months later, in fact, in December, you went back to the home with an investigator from my office and myself. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in fact, you had been going to the home periodically throughout.
Yes, sir.
Because you were taking care of the house. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, the appearance of the couch had changed in that amount of time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Judge, I'm showing the witness People's Pros Exhibits 10, 11, and 12. May I approach?
Yes. 10, 11, and 12, no, 9.
Correct. 9 minutes later. Just take a look at these for me. Do you recognize what's shown in those photographs?
Other than the living room and the blanket, no, sir.
That's the couch, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that the couch as it looked a couple months after?
No, it did look a bit different, but I'm not sure what really had happened. But like this was like later though.
Okay. So let me phrase this way. The couch changed appearance, correct?
Yes, sir.
You don't know why, but it did.
Yes, sir.
Is that how it looked?
After or? I'm sorry, sir.
That's okay. A couple months after October 1st. Is that what the couch looked like?
A couple months after. I believe it still had some, but not to that extent, no, sir.
Okay. This is the same couch?
Yes, sir.
And you saw it look different, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do these pictures show what the couch looked like at some point later?
Kinda. It's just missing the bottle.
Missing the lye bottle?
Yes, sir.
Right, the lye bottle hadn't moved, but the couch in particular?
Yeah.
Okay. Judge, I'd move to admit these as People's 10, 11, and 12.
Guess I would object to those, Your Honor. It's like he's not real sure. I know he didn't take them. I don't believe they're admissible at this point.
Judge, you said that these are the this is the couch. This is how it looks. Just the lie bottle's missing. That's the only thing that you said was different.
Okay, but it has to be at the time that the photograph was taken, and was that ever established? You said a couple months after. The witness indicated that that is not what it looked like a couple of months later.
Let me try this.
Yes, sir.
Middle of December, 2021. You went to the house with myself and investigator Don Tullock. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
You recall that incident?
Yes.
Okay. You had been at the house between then.
Yes.
Yes, you'd been in the house after.
Yes, sir.
At some point, did the couch come to look different? In that whole period of time?
Yes, but no. But like the white stuff was still there.
Okay.
You could tell some was kind of disappearing, but not fully.
The color of the couch fabric itself?
I didn't notice a difference in the fabric, no.
Okay. So this the fabric here doesn't look different to you?
I mean, it looks white.
Okay, so the fabric did change color.
I'm so sorry, sir.
Don't be sorry. It's okay. Let me ask you this. Did you pay close attention to the fabric of the couch?
I paid close. I took a glance at the couch and I took a glance at the bottom, but that was it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Just I'll withdraw the motion to admit those. Thank you. Okay. Now, your father was in the hospital for quite some time, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall when he came home?
It was either... No, it was March.
Okay.
It was around March.
Of the next year, 2022?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you were the next of kin for your dad, is that right?
Yes, sir.
You authorized a lot of medical care.
Yes, sir.
Your father was sedated often?
Yes, sir.
He was getting much medication, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about some of the procedures that your father went through while he was at the hospital?
I guess, Your Honor, I'm going to object. This is the form of the question. He may not know the procedures. He can say what he authorized.
Okay.
Well, I know a good amount of them.
All right.
Let me ask you this. There was treatments done to your father's legs.
Yes, sir.
Did you participate in the decision-making around those decisions?
Yes, I will say I did participate in one of the decisions, but I also left the decision in his hands because I had told him that, yes, I'm in charge, but it's not my life. It's also up to you.
Okay.
So he had told the nurse, shook his head, and they authorized it. And eventually he had lost both his legs. Yes, they were, I believe it was carcicated and then whatever.
So that was for the amputation of his legs?
Yes, sir, amputation.
Did they amputate both of his legs?
Yes. By the time before he had come home, yes, both legs were amputated. At first they amputated one, and they started with the left side leg, I believe.
Okay. Did you come to learn why? What were you...
They amputated the legs because the legs were too severely infected and damaged with burns. And because of how deep it had went and gone, they had told me that he would bleed a lot if they had tried to laser or scrape it out, whatever they were doing. And so they had said that the best option, the best procedure to go about it was just to do an amputation, to cut it off from there, clean it up from there, and so that's what they did.
Did you authorize treatment pertaining to infections?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall how many times that was?
I don't, but I know he had a lot of treatments because I visited daily, and there were times where I had to wait, times where I actually couldn't visit. I mean, he had a lot of treatments, medication, numbing, then he had a lot of skin therapy, grafting, yeah.
Were you there when he was put on dialysis?
I was, actually, yes.
All right. Were you there when they gave him, when they did a tracheotomy?
The tracheotomy, yes.
Okay. And what was the tracheotomy?
It went down in his throat, I believe, and it was something that they had given him to help him speak, and it's something that I remember because he had thought that he was not going to need it when he was coming home, but he still had it when he was coming home.
Okay. Was he having trouble speaking during those couple months?
At first he didn't speak at all, but then after a while he started speaking again. He struggled, yeah, a little, but when he had came home near the end, I mean, it was a bit better.
Okay. Now you said when he came home near the end.
Yep.
How did it be that he came home?
Came home on hospice.
You want some tissue, sir?
No.
Water. Would you like some water? Okay.
There should be tissue right next to you.
You said he...
Thank you.
You said he came home on hospice?
Yep.
Okay. Did he make that decision or did you?
Yeah. He made that decision, sorry.
Okay.
He made that decision. I remember because I wasn't expecting him home. I thought I had more time, so he decided that he wanted to come home. So me and a great group of friends that I had helped me out, helped me get the house ready, and he came home.
Okay. And then he died 3 days later, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Austin, Mr. Imirowicz, you indicated that your father, when the accident occurred, was he able to talk then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So it was sometime later he had a tracheotomy and had problems talking?
Well, at first, before he had the tracheotomy, he couldn't talk at all. And if he did, it was like a little... After the trach is when he started to have something of a voice again, yes.
Okay. How soon after the accident did he stop talking? Do you remember? Because you indicated that he made some statements when he was at the hospital or the emergency room when he got there, right?
I don't know, to be honest with you. All I know is he was talking, and then at Ascension Genesis, they moved him. And whatever they started doing after that, wasn't talking.
Okay, so he didn't talk for a while, correct?
Yes, sir.
Not to you. And this was a very difficult situation, I understand that. Your father drank quite a bit on occasion, correct?
Yeah, everyone drinks, sir.
Okay. He drank more than most, though, right?
No, sir. I will admit this much because I lived there my whole life. He drank, yes. But on more occasions was there more than others? No, sir. Because at all times, at least especially when I was there and from what I had seen and had always seen, he'd still get up, he was still functional, he still talked, he still called his family, and he still sat there and talked with me in my room. Because him and I hung out a lot, sir.
Okay.
But I will say, no, yes, he did drink. But then again, I mean, who doesn't? Who hasn't?
Well, he showed up at your graduation party, didn't he?
I didn't have a graduation party, sir. Actually, it was a little get-together. But I'm not the one that had planned or hosted it because I did not want one.
All right. But he showed up at that party, correct?
I mean, it was at the house, so yeah, he was there.
All right. He smelled of urine at that time, didn't he?
No, sir, not that I know of, no. He smelled totally fine to me that day.
He was slurring his speech, wasn't he?
No, not that I know of either on that day. Because on that day, in an honest answer, an honest remembering, he smelled fine and he wasn't slurring no speech. But also, then again, I was hanging with a bunch of people.
So you didn't talk to him?
No, I'd spoken to him, yes, but he had nothing like that you are saying on him or described in that way.
The medical records indicate that he was severely intoxicated. Would you disagree with it on that day?
No, because I know that's something that the nurses did tell me about, that he had shown up with a pretty high level.
All right, and...
But...
Go ahead. You indicated when you got there in your preliminary exam transcript that he was slurring his speech the first time.
I put that in my transcript. Is that what you said? Or
that's what you testified to last time.
I testified to that he drank, yes, sir. Because I'm not going to lie and say that someone doesn't drink alcohol. If that's what you're asking, yes. And last time, that is what I testified to, is the fact that, yes, he does drink alcohol.
He did slur his speech on that
He did
occasion?
not slur his speech. No. Not that I know of, and not that I remember hearing. And I knew my father pretty damn well.
All right. You indicated that he set the bug bomb off that day.
He had said that it was a bug bomb that had done it, and he had said that he had set one off later that night, yes, but I do not believe that a bug bomb had done that to him.
Well, I'm asking you what he said to you, not what you believe, all right?
All right, yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when was the last time you saw him prior to that date? Do you remember?
Prior to before I saw him in the hospital?
Prior to the October 1st date.
I saw him literally the night before, because he had dropped me off, picked me up from work. I was working at Mexico Lindo, picked me up around 11 o'clock at night, took me back to Stanley, which was my place that I was living with my roommates, dropped me off. I'd asked him if he wanted to stay the night. He said no, and when I talked for a bit, and he went home because he said he had to take care of Megan.
Okay. And he would look fine on that date, correct?
Yes, sir. No, yeah.
Good. All right. You indicated, and you testified that, he stated that Megan and he had a fight that day, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at that point in time, there were some things thrown?
Yes, sir.
After that, he indicated that it was over. He went and took a nap?
I believe so, yes, sir.
So the fight was over and he went and took a nap, correct?
That is the last thing that he had remembered, that he had told me. I do not know because I was not there that day when they had the fight.
I understand, but that's what he told you, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you have another brother and sister, correct?
Yeah. I haven't spoken to him in 40 years, though. They stopped visiting, and I just stopped caring.
Did you ever notify them that their father had passed away?
I'm going to object as to relevance.
There was a notification.
There's an objection.
Hold on, sir. Response?
Your Honor, there's some hostility here. There are other children involved. I believe that he has basically a bias towards everyone. He's the one who's in charge, and I think it shows his attitude about the situation.
I don't know what a bias towards other people who were not involved.
Other
or not
family
there.
members.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Court is going to sustain the objection.
Okay. At any time your father talked, did he say that Megan threw this white powder on him?
No, not for the white powder.
At the hospital on that first date, did he ever say Megan threw the white powder on him?
No, but then again, he could not have remembered, and he had a hard time remembering.
Well, now, I asked what your father said. All right?
I know.
Okay? I didn't ask what you think he remembered or what he didn't. Okay? After the incident, did you go back in the house?
I went back there one time after getting permission to get the cats, and then another time with DeSantis and one of his, I believe, officers or buddies.
Okay.
And then after that, the other time, every time I'd made sure I'd gotten permission, but it was just to make sure there was nothing left, evacuate anything that still could have been saved at the time, and then that was it. The rest of it I left. It was dewinterized for a while.
All right. And when you were in the house, it was a fairly messy house, correct?
Yeah.
That's kind of the way he lived?
No, not always, but it's what became of it, yeah.
Near the end, when you moved out, the house was messy, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there were fleas in the house at that point in time?
No.
No fleas?
No.
Were there cats in the house?
The cats were in the house, yeah, but then, the cats were inside and outside house, so it's like 50-50. Sometimes they were in, sometimes they weren't. I don't fully remember if the cats were in that house that day, though.
All right. Okay, if I could have a minute.
Sure.
Sure. Thank you all for being here to watch this with me. Wow. Poor Austin. Okay, when the sound comes back on, we'll play it.
Briefly, Judge.
Yes.
Mr. Miller asked you about whether or not your father told you that that Megan threw white powder, but in your written statement it did say cleaning supplies, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. He didn't specify what kind of cleaning supplies?
No.
Okay. Do you know what the white powder is?
If I remember correctly, from what I had asked and what I had looked up, I believe it is known as lye powder.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, do you have any questions? Okay, sir, you may step down. Your excuse as a witness.
Judge, can we take a short break?
Sure. It is 11:28, 15 minutes?
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll come back at 11:45.
That's the judge. Okay, so thank goodness we were actually 7 minutes behind, so we don't have to wait too long now. I'll recap again with this case as soon as they're... Okay, so the sound went off, as you could see there. Okay, so go forward. Cool, so now let's continue to monitor that. Hope you guys can hear me. Okay, that was, yeah, Rogue Daisy said, my heart is pounding after that. That was hectic. So let me just recap for you guys. Just hold on 1 second. I want to do this. Okay. And actually do this so that we can look at this that we looked at together earlier, just as a recap. All right. So, Groveland Township, Michigan. The trial of a teen accused of dousing her father with drain cleaner is underway in Michigan. Megan Joyce Imirowicz allegedly tossed a mix containing lye powder and water on Konrad Imirowicz, 64, while he was napping on a couch at the family's Groveland Township home on October 1st, 2021. She was 18 at the time, and the thing is, she just turned 18 that day. So she had a birthday party planned that evening, and I think she was probably excited about it. I mean, I would just speculate, and based on what I've heard, she was excited about it. She was going to have a party at a hotel. She was going to get her hair done. And it sounds like when she saw her dad passed out drunk on the couch, from what we know so far, she got very upset and threw bread at him and other items and all sorts of things that was thrown, and then eventually threw lye powder on him. And lye powder, when there's water added, so we don't know, because we've heard different versions so far with the witnesses. Yesterday was day one. It was the jury selection, the opening statements, which we watched together at the beginning of this stream. So go back to the beginning on the replay if you do want to see that. The opening statements, I'll timestamp everything for you, as I always do. So opening statements, and then there was the first witness, which was that Kayla Bousquette, one of Megan's friends that was going to give her a ride to the hotel that day. And she's actually the one that went over to the house because Megan sent her a text to say, can you just go and check there because my dad's credit card is not working. The PIN wasn't working. So when Kayla went over there, she found Konrad, who was 64 years old, on the couch in a state. Like his skin was all burned and stuff. Okay, so now we don't know, did she also throw water on him? Or did he spill liquid on himself, or did he try to wash himself off and that activated the lye powder, or something like that? We're just not too sure, right? That's why we're watching this together. Welcome to this trial coverage. I will be covering every day of this, and yeah, let's hope eventually the court gets their Zoom link sorted as well. So that is what they said would be happening. Okay, so just to continue on, they say Megan Joyce Imirowicz allegedly tossed a mix containing lye powder and water on Konrad Imirowicz, 64, while he was napping on a couch at the family's Groveland Township home on October 1st, 2021, and she was 18 at the time. Konrad was hospitalized that day with chemical burns to his head, torso, and extremities. So today we heard from a nurse, and he was describing what Konrad said to him, which is also different to what they said in the opening statements, that Konrad said, well, she threw something on me, and he's talking about like a bug bomb as well that he set off that day, which is interesting, because is he making excuses for his daughter, like, don't worry, it was just a bug bomb, or was the bug bomb also part of it? Was it also part of the day or not? But anyway, we heard from a witness who was a nurse as well, treating him and just describing the injuries. And then now we've heard from Austin, who is Megan's brother. Okay, so, and we don't know where the mother is, but Austin just said that the mother and father have been divorced for a very long time, is how he worded it, right? So they say, Konrad was hospitalized that day with chemical burns to his head, torso, and extremities. He spent months in intensive care before being released to in-home hospice care in his final days. Konrad succumbed to his injuries and died on March 6th, 2022, so like 5 months later. And whoa, we learned today that his legs were also amputated, both legs. One first, then the other, because of all the infection from the burns, right? Sure, okay. And then they say he's succumbed to his injuries, right? Oakland County prosecutors have charged Megan with unlawful possession or use of harmful devices, imitation or irritants, causing death, a felony, and misdemeanor domestic violence. According to police, Megan left her father unconscious after dousing him. A neighbor found Konrad. Investigators later found lye powder on the couch. They showed some exhibits today as well, which we got to see what that really looked like. Lye powder is a common cleaning agent. It's also known as sodium hydroxide or caustic soda, often used in drains. When mixed with water, it creates what is known as an exothermic reaction. This causes a dramatic temperature increase, and the solution can reach as high as 200 degrees Fahrenheit. The reaction results in fumes that, when inhaled, render people unconscious. So that could also be why he was unconscious, you know? So I could see Law and Crime and Court TV are calling it the sleeping dad death trial. I'm just calling it what it is, right? Because I'm like, was he sleeping? Was he napping? Was he passed out? Was it from the fumes? Was it from alcohol? I just don't know. We're finding out so much already today. And so they say, yeah, the fumes could have actually rendered him unconscious. By the time Konrad was discovered, he was severely burned and had lost consciousness. Police have not publicly stated what they believe Megan's motive to have been. And the other thing is, they did say as well now that he was talking that day, as well as in the nurse and the son says he was talking. So lost consciousness, but was talking at the time. Later, lost his voice too. Damn. So yeah, this we don't know. USA Kiwi, are there searches on her phone and or computer for lye? I don't know. That's the thing, because Austin said he hadn't seen that in the house before. So that is quite interesting as well. Yes. That's true, Caroline. I bet some of the chemistry YouTubers could speculate up a whole boatload of potential chemical reactions given a random collection of household chemicals. Okay, so yes. And Mary Green says Austin's testimony was intense. It sure was. It sure was. So let me go back to this. Yeah, okay, it still looks like this right now. Let's go forward. Go there to where it's live. Okay. And they said at 1:45, right? So it should be in a minute or so, from what I heard. All right. So, yes. Hope you're up to speed now, just with a little bit of a recap of what's going on, what we know so far. And hope you enjoy the trial coverage with me. What I've done with this feed is boost the audio, and I've also boosted the clarity, you know, fiddled with all the, the colors and the everything. And I have banners with information for you throughout, so I hope that you find that useful. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. PGP says, why isn't she charged with second-degree murder? Well, that depends also on the medical reason for his death. Now, I know the chemical burns caused all these complications, but it seems like a snowball of health complications, right? So if it was alcoholism that could put him at a disadvantage for that chemical, that, and then the amputation, and then the, what do they call it? I don't want to get the word wrong. Tracheotomy? Is that what it is? Tracheotomy. Yes, all of those things. It could have caused a lot of complications. So maybe that's why, but I'm not sure. Not sure. Oh, man. Caroline says he laid in the lie. She lied. Black Widow. Grizzly, reminder to eat and hydrate in case you are hyper-focused. Thank you so much. I always have. I've just finished this one, but I've always got lots of water. Okay, snacks I don't have right now, but when they take a lunch break, we might take a break as well, and then I'll see you for the afternoon session. So we could do that. I just want to see what else do we have. What else? Let me just quickly check the Zoom link again. Yeah, no. And I've emailed the court as well to say what's going on here. Where is your Zoom link? Okay, let me see what else we have. This article here. Just hold on. Yeah. Okay. So, trial got underway Monday afternoon in Oakland County, for a teenager accused of throwing a lie on her father, which reportedly led to his death 5 months later. Megan Joyce Imirowicz, 19, is charged with unlawful possession or use of harmful devices, imitation, irritants, causing death, a felony, and misdemeanor DV for the October 1st, 2021 assault of her father, Konrad Imirowicz. The 64-year-old Imirowicz spent months hospitalized before he reportedly was released to hospice care at his home a few days before his death on March 4th, 2022. So we heard from Austin today that he was released 3 days before he passed away. Wow. Konrad Imirowicz reportedly had a drinking problem and is believed to have been highly intoxicated on the day he was severely burned by lye that investigators claim his daughter threw at him. In his opening statement, Assistant Prosecutor Jason DeSantis said while it was a common occurrence for the older Imirowicz to be drunk, even in the morning as he was that day, it was probably the straw that broke the camel's back that enraged Megan Imirowicz to the point that she began throwing things at him, including water and lye. See, here they say water and lye, but we'll have to see. Barbara C. says people are argumentative in here today. I feel the same. No, I can't say I'm disappointed, but Barbara, I hear you. Please keep it kind, keep it grizzly, as we say. But trials, I must say, they do bring about high emotions and big debates, and it's okay to debate. Just don't be unkind, okay? So let's continue on here. I'm just going to keep on checking here, though. Okay, we should hear the sound when it comes back. So in his opening statement, okay, we read that, yes. Throwing things at him, including water and lye. Megan Imirowicz had needed him to drive her to a salon appointment that day ahead of her 18th birthday party at a local hotel. But he was unable due to his level of intoxication, DeSantis said. So that could have made her pretty angry, which I then understand. As I say, I'm on the neutral fence. She's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and not even for a murder charge right now. It's DV and, dousing him with that chemical, sure. Okay, so they say, she really wanted to go to the salon and then to this birthday party. Her 18th birthday party was that day. So she's only 19 years old now. She'll turn 20 this year on October 1st. And so Megan Imirowicz had needed him to drive her to a salon appointment that day at her 18th birthday party at a local hotel, but he was unable due to his level of intoxication. Defense attorney Fred Miller, in his opening statement, told jurors they will learn that Konrad Imirowicz never said that he remembered what happened or said his daughter had doused him with the drain cleaner. Miller also told the jury to please listen to everything presented during the trial before making up their minds about the case. But the thing is, the nurse said contradictory things to that to that defense attorney, because they say that he did say there was the bug bomb and then that she threw stuff on him. Right? Okay, so she threw stuff at him. Called as the prosecution's first witness, Kayla Bousquette described herself as a former friend and neighbor of Megan Imirowicz, who found Konrad Imirowicz naked and severely injured on the couch in his living room several hours after the alleged assault. Bousquette testified that earlier that morning, Megan Imirowicz had sent her a Snapchat photo of herself crying, and then sent a text stating that her dad got drunk and he didn't care that she had stuff to do and she threw stuff at him. So if you missed that, Megan, the defendant, texted a Snapchat picture of herself crying to her friend Kayla, which, that sounds quite manipulative, but you just don't know if that's what kids are texting these days. Look at me, I'm crying, I'm very upset, this is what happened. Okay, so later that afternoon, Megan Imirowicz asked her to go by home to get credit card information from her father to pay for the party at the hotel, Bousquette testified. And that's when she came upon the man's horrifying injury, she said. He looked very bad. He looked very out of it. He had burns or blood or bruises or something on him. His head, chest, hands, stomach, his legs looked green, Bousquette said. Then the injured man told her that his hand hurt, revealing it, which Bousquette said made her feel very ill and caused her to panic. His fingers were red and purple and the fingernails were curled up. Oh, that sounds so hectic, you guys. It sounds so hectic. Man. So yeah, trigger warning, everyone. This content's for adults only. And we're yet to learn what happened here. Kathleen R. says, and thank you for your sticker, in my opinion, those of us who have lived with alcoholics, especially those whose disease drastically impacts our daily lives, will have a great amount of empathy for the defendant. I understand. Thank you so much, Kathleen. So, Bousquette went outside, called her mother and Megan Imirowicz's brother Austin, who told her to contact 911, which she did. Konrad Imirowicz was transported to Ascension Genesee Hospital, and eventually Megan Imirowicz called her. Bousquette said, I told her we were at the hospital, her dad was in the hospital, and she hung up on me. Bousquette testified. She didn't say anything. Now, did she freak out at that moment, or was she just, you know what I mean? Did she freak out? Did she think like, ugh, whatever? Her brother said she went like, oh. Did she not understand, the gravity of the situation, or what? According to DeSantis, a nurse overheard Konrad Imirowicz telling his son that Megan was the one who caused his injuries. Michigan State Police were called and interviewed her at the hotel, and she allegedly admitted to throwing water and a white powder at her father, DeSantis claims. Konrad Imirowicz endured months of suffering, including several infections, amputation of both legs, dialysis, and a tracheotomy while hospitalized. Testimony continues Tuesday morning in the Oakland County Circuit Court, with Judge Victoria Valentine presiding over the trial. Megan Imirowicz faces up to life in prison if convicted of the felony charge. So that's what we have there right now. Okay, remember, all caps is for members only streams. This is now not a members only stream, so please tone down the all caps, otherwise YouTube registers that as spam and then it limits the reach of the stream. So yes, okay. You guys say, damn, that's a rough way to die. I'm just going to go back to the stream here so that we can see where it is. Okay. Sally Jane says, well, if you know you are in trouble, you cry. Most people do. Unreal. Yeah. I'm just checking what you guys are saying. And Tammy, parent says she cried before it was her brother. Probably hasn't seen him since he was arrested, and she's hurt that she hurt him. Yeah, it looked like that really got to her, you know. Oh, thank you so much. Annette says, wow, G, you're always on top of the true crime. So proud to be one of your Grizzlies. Thank you. Paula's like, where's your striped referee shirt? Do I need that today? It seems like it, right? Also, I know I'm normally like blazered up for court, but no, the Netherlands is blazing hot, so I'm not wearing my court jacket today, okay? Roxanne says, the real question is, if she just turned 18, why wasn't she working? Is that how it goes in America? Like, turn 18, start working. I don't know. She turned 18 that day. Don't know what she was up to. Okay, go forward. Here we go.
The right hand to be sworn.
Under penalty of perjury, you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear.
I'm sorry.
Did you say I swear?
I swear.
Thank you, sir. You may be seated. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Lucas Kobe, Lucas, and then Kobe, Kobe.
Thank you. Do you know Austin Imirowicz?
Yes.
How do you know Austin Imirowicz?
He is a longtime friend.
Okay. Did you know Konrad Imirowicz?
Yes.
How long did you know Konrad?
Well, it would have been 15 years.
Okay. How would you characterize your relationship with the Imirowicz family?
Austin was like a brother to me, and Konrad was like a father to me.
You spend a lot of time at Konrad's house?
Yes.
Okay. Did you live nearby?
Yeah, I lived right down, well, I don't know, about 3 miles away.
Okay. So you went to the same school, I assume?
Yes.
Is that where you met?
Originally, no. We met playing baseball.
Okay. I want to take you to October 1st, 2021. Do you recall that day?
Yeah.
Okay. At that time, were you living with Austin?
Yes.
Okay. You were not living at the Imirowicz home?
No, we were living in a home off of Stanley Avenue in Pontiac.
Okay. Did you come to learn that something had happened to Mr. Imirowicz that day?
Yes.
How did that happen?
We received a call from Kayla Bousquette that he looked dead, and we informed her to call the police, and then we headed to the home.
Okay. Now, did you talk to Kayla yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Who did the call actually come to?
Austin.
It came to Austin. How did you end up talking to Kayla?
To try and figure out what was going on. I just spoke to her over Austin's phone.
Okay. Did Austin put on the speaker?
Yes.
Okay. Is that unusual?
No.
All right. So you heard Kayla telling Austin and yourself about what was going on?
Yes.
And then you went directly to the home?
Yes.
All right. And you went with Austin to the home?
I drove Austin to his dad's.
All right. What did you see when you got there?
EMS.
All right. And was there anybody else there?
Trooper Smith, I believe, got there afterwards, but there was local PD.
Okay. And was Kayla there?
I believe so, but honestly, the details are foggy there.
Okay. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. When you pulled up, what was going on with Konrad? Did you see him?
I did see him.
Where was he?
On the couch.
All right. So you went inside the home?
Yes.
Okay. And you saw him in there?
Yes.
How did he look to you?
like a rotting corpse.
What makes you say that?
He had skin falling off of him and just stuff all over him, and there was liquid on the floor and stuff on the couch where he was asleep.
So there was liquid on the floor?
Yes.
How much liquid?
A lot.
Okay, when you say a lot, tell me what we're talking about.
I don't know, it had to have been minimum a gallon. I don't know what the liquid was personally.
Did you touch it?
No.
Okay. Did you see stuff on the couch?
Yes.
What was on the couch?
A white powder.
Okay. Did you know what that was?
No, not immediately.
All right. Where was Konrad when you came in?
On the couch.
But where on the couch, excuse me?
Like in relation to...
Yeah, if you're sitting on the couch, is it the left side or the right side?
Well, he was laying across the couch.
Okay, so he's laying down at that point?
Yes.
All right. Did he say anything to you?
No.
Did you say anything to him?
Yes, I asked what happened.
Did he tell you?
Not immediately, no.
Okay. You said you saw water on the floor. What about the couch? Was the couch?
Objection, Your Honor. He did not say water on
Excuse
the floor.
me.
He said liquid.
That's right. Excuse me. You saw liquid on the floor. Is that right?
That is correct.
What about the couch? Was the couch wet?
Yes.
Okay. How did you know the couch was wet?
Well, because it changes color when it's wet and it becomes dark.
So was it darker?
Yes.
Okay. You didn't actually touch the couch, though, right?
No, sir.
Okay. The room was pretty messy. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been there before?
Yes.
And it's been messy before?
Yes.
All right.
However, it was messier than normal.
It's messier than normal?
There was a lot of garbage strewn about that wasn't there previously.
That was unusual?
Yes.
Okay. When you went in, you tried to talk to him, he didn't respond to you, is that right?
That is correct.
What happened then?
EMS took him out and they took him to Beaumont Hospital.
They went to Beaumont, okay. Was it Beaumont?
Or Genesis, maybe.
Okay.
Honestly, that's a little bit fuzzy.
They took him to a hospital, is that
A
right?
hospital.
Okay, you don't recall which one? Okay. And did you then go to the hospital as well?
Yes.
With Austin?
Yes.
What happened when you got to the hospital?
I went into the hospital and spoke with Konrad a little bit.
Okay.
And then Austin went in immediately after me.
Okay, so you went in first?
That is correct.
All right. What did you talk to Konrad about while you were in there?
I asked him what had happened, or if it was... I asked him what had happened and asked him if someone had done it to him, or what.
Okay. When you asked him these questions, was Austin in the room with you at that point?
No, sir.
Okay. Did Konrad tell you what happened before Austin came in?
No.
Okay. What did he say when you asked him those questions?
Honestly, he wasn't very verbal. He made noise, but it was hard for him to speak.
Mr. DeSantis, is this a witness?
No, Your Honor, not to my knowledge.
To my knowledge, either.
Deputy, is that a witness? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. DeSantis.
Thank you. Sorry. You said he wasn't very verbal.
That is correct.
Okay. How long were you in there before Austin came in?
Maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Did he talk to you at all in that time?
No, I mostly just spoke with nurses.
Okay. And then Austin came in?
And then I went out and Austin came in because they had a one-person rule.
Okay.
Or, no, sorry, that was at Hurley.
Okay.
I apologize. Austin did come in. We were both in the room. And then Konrad started to talk.
All right. I'm going to ask you to keep your voice up for us a little bit, okay? Hurley is the second hospital, correct?
That is correct. That's where he went to the burn unit.
All right. So the first hospital is what we're talking about now. Austin did come into the room while you were in there?
Correct.
Okay. Were you then continuing to talk to Konrad, you and Austin?
Austin spoke to Konrad. I kind of sat in the back.
Okay. Did Austin ask Konrad what happened?
Yes.
Did Konrad respond to Austin?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what Konrad said?
Not verbatim, no.
Okay. Would you gave a written statement, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that was given the same day as the incident, October 1st?
Yes.
All right. You'd agree that your recollection then was better than it is now?
Absolutely.
All right. Would looking at the written statement possibly refresh your recollection?
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Yes, sir.
You just read that to yourself and then put it face down and look at me when you're done. that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay, what did Konrad tell Austin?
Konrad told Austin that Megan had thrown trash at him.
Okay.
And a variety of other things.
Do you recall?
Sorry, I couldn't hear
I was gonna ask.
A variety of other things among trash.
Did he say anything specific in that variety of other things?
Hair dye products, cleaning solution.
Okay. How did that make you feel when you heard that?
Rather upset.
Okay. You've known Megan, correct?
Yes.
In fact, you're looking at you see her in court today.
Yes, I do.
Can you identify her for us?
Right there.
Judge, ask the record to reflect the witness identify the defendant.
No objection.
So noted.
Have you known Megan pretty much the same amount of time as Austin, or a different period?
A little bit shorter of an amount of time after Konrad and Julie split.
Okay. And to be clear, Julie is
Konrad's ex-wife.
Thank you. So how long were you in the room with Austin and Konrad?
Until we had to leave to... I went out so that Julie could go in, actually.
Okay.
So maybe an hour.
All right. Did you or Austin say anything to Konrad about protecting Megan?
Austin.
What did Austin say?
Austin asked if Megan had done it and then told Konrad that he didn't have to protect Megan if she had.
Okay, and what did Konrad say?
He said that she had.
Okay, that she had done it?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Austin told Konrad that if Megan had done it, he didn't need to protect her. And Austin said that Megan had thrown trash and stuff at him. So.
Austin said Megan that, or Konrad said that?
Konrad said that to Austin.
Okay, but it was Austin who asked about protecting Megan?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to ask a follow-up question?
No, I couldn't hear him.
Sure.
I apologize. I'll keep my voice up.
That's okay. Did you go see Konrad ever again?
Once.
When was that?
Before he was released for hospice.
So you saw him up at Hurley?
Yes.
Okay, were you able to talk to him then?
Yes.
Well, what kind of condition was he in?
Real bad condition.
Okay. Do you recall roughly when it was?
Maybe February or early March.
Okay, so that'd be pretty close to when he came home.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you able to talk to him at all?
He wasn't all there by the time that I was able to see him again.
All right, then we won't ask about what he said, okay?
I appreciate it.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Thank you. So you arrived at the home. We're talking about the home now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to answer yes or no because it
Yes,
okay.
I apologize.
It's not a problem. We just want to make sure we make a good record. When you got there, there was an ambulance there already?
That is correct.
And you and Austin went into the house?
That is correct.
You went up the stairs then?
Yes, and to the left, and then looked into the living room where the couch was with Konrad laying on it.
He was on the couch when you got there?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, you said you saw liquid.
That is correct.
Where was the liquid?
On the couch and on the floor, right next to Konrad.
And how do you know it was liquid?
Have you ever seen liquid?
Yes.
Okay, it pools.
It pools. Okay, were there pools on the couch?
Well, the couch was dark and dampened, and there was a pool of liquid on the floor. So
Okay.
I surmised that there was liquid on the couch.
Okay, so based upon the color change in the couch, you're assuming there was water on the couch?
I am not assuming, sir. I am telling you that there was liquid on the couch.
Liquid on the couch, based on your observations?
That is correct.
All right. And on the floor, there was standing liquid, correct?
That is correct.
And where was that located?
That was located at the base of the couch and towards the table that was in the center of the room.
So let's fast forward, and you're going to the hospital, you're at the hospital, you go in and talk to Mr. Imirowicz first, correct?
That is correct.
You were there half hour, you said? Rough guess?
To an hour, yes.
Okay. With just you?
Just myself, about a half of an hour.
Okay. And was Mr. Imirowicz speaking to you?
No. As I stated, I mostly spoke to nurses and doctors.
So he didn't make any statements to you then?
No, I asked him questions, but he was not very verbal in his answers.
All right. And at some point then, Austin came in, correct?
That is correct.
And you stayed for a few minutes while he talked to Austin?
That is correct.
And then you left and Austin was still there a little bit?
That is correct.
And then Julie Conrad came in, so you left, correct?
That is correct. There are only 2 people allowed in the hospital, so I left to allow Julie Conrad to come in.
And Julie's his ex-wife, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you, nothing further.
Mr. DeSantis?
About how big was this standing pool of liquid?
I would say that it was rather large. It covered pretty much end to end the couch, on the floor at least.
So, given that Conrad was laying on the couch, it was close to Conrad, is that right?
That is correct.
All right. Could you tell what it was from where you were?
I could tell that it was liquid. I couldn't tell you what the liquid was.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are there questions? Okay, sir, you are thanked and excused as a witness.
Thank you very much.
Your Honor, my next witness is scheduled to arrive at 1:30.
Okay. It is 12:08. We will reconvene at 1:30. Okay? This is your lunch break. Make sure that you don't talk about the case during your recess. No searching anything. No looking at social media or otherwise trying to investigate any of the issues or testimony with regard to this matter, please. Thank you. All right, so great.
Okay, everyone. So they're going to be taking a lunch break now. Right now in Michigan, it's 12:08, and they're coming back at 1:30, and we will also be coming back at that time. So please make sure that you are subscribed with your bell on so that you don't miss the notification. Okay. I just want to see the sound. Yeah, no, they've taken the sound off already. So there's no sound there. I can move her over a little bit. There we go. Okay. She's in her dress. She's sitting down, and now they're talking there. Okay, so coming back at 1:30. So yes, I just want to see what you guys are saying. That was a lot. I mean, the witness was Lucas Kobe, as we saw, and yeah, he was pretty snarky, but very good witness in my opinion. What do you think? Yeah, this is the thing. Sally Jane says still a lot of unanswered questions. Shaking my head. Exactly. Being very cautious with it because I'm not too sure what to think yet. I'm waiting to see if there's more information. Of course, I mean, you know that I would always say that violence of any kind, harming someone else is not justified. It's not okay. Don't do that. But I do want to know more about, you know, what the dynamics were, what was going on. Was there any, you know, neglect in the household, abuse? Was there any, I don't know, we just don't know. So we are yet to see that. Similicia said, why did the son move out? Well, I can't remember how old he was, but maybe it's just what someone said earlier. He's like, bam, I'm old enough now. I'm moving out. Got a job. And he was roommates with Lucas Kobe, right? That's what they said. So, oh wow, we're zooming into the ceiling now. Ceiling shots. Let's take that off, shall we? Because we don't want to see that. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. So maybe he just moved out and got a job and was on his own. I don't know. It is also interesting how he said his dad was completely sober and, you know, that he knew him all his life, of course, and said that he wasn't a heavy drinker. He was a functional alcoholic, as many of you guys said. We don't know at this point if he was an alcoholic at all. But from what he was describing, it's as if he was a functional alcoholic. But the thing is, they said in the opening statements that his blood alcohol level was very high, which could also contribute to him either not... I'm not blaming him. Okay, I'm just saying, why would he just lie there from what we know so far? Did he get up and rinse himself off? Maybe, and maybe that caused the reaction. But if he just really lay there after being covered in, well, everything. Bread was thrown at him. Now we learned that it was also garbage, hair dye, stuff, cleaning solution, like, whoa, all kinds of stuff was being thrown around there and on him. So why was there a delayed reaction? Maybe he was pretty drunk and passed out, napping. It was nap time, okay? So, and she was very angry. Megan Imirowicz, she just turned 18. She had a hair salon appointment, and she also had a party for her 18th birthday at a hotel that night. So he was supposed to drive her to the hair salon, and when she could see he's not even getting up, he's passed out, according to what we know so far. Yeah, she got really pissed off, it sounds like. So maybe she's like, enough is enough. But still, it's not okay. But I do want to hear more information, right? Then she contacted that friend. She sent a picture of herself crying to her friend who testified yesterday. We looked at that at the beginning of the stream. And said, can you go over there and just check out his credit card information or get information, because his credit card PIN wasn't working. So she had her hair done and obviously then I would say couldn't pay. That's at the point at which I think it would show that the credit card PIN is no longer working. So she was getting upset with that as well. The friend went over and saw this dad, Konrad, 64 years old, on the couch in a terrible state. And now we're hearing from Lucas Kobe, who's Austin, Megan's brother's roommate and friend, saying he looked terrible, like a corpse, and like the skin not looking good, and like so much liquid all around him, which we still don't know what that is. We still don't know. Is it like body fluid? Is it like infection type fluid? What is it? Is it water? Did she throw a bucket of water on him or what? You know? Why is there so much? Right. And so Robin says, well, he was naked under that blanket when Kayla got there, so maybe he did get up and shower. That's also what I'm wondering. It's like a lot of people obviously reacted, but we reacting based on a little we know, right? We don't know yet. Why was he naked? Because they're saying he was naked under that blanket. But did he nap like that? Or did he get up and try to rinse himself off and then go lie down naked after that when he was alone at home? I don't know. Okay. Patricia Burns says she must have really wanted him to suffer. Well, I wonder if she knew. That's the question. I know you guys have asked it throughout the stream. Did she know what lye and water could do, or what lye powder could do to the skin? It'll be interesting to see if they later say like Google searches. Ooh, we know there could be some Google searches that come up at some point, you know. That'll be scary. But if she didn't know, I wouldn't be surprised either. She's like just turned 18 and she had no idea. She's just flinging around stuff in a rage. However, Austin, her brother, said he'd never really seen lye in the house, right? But he also wasn't living in the house at the time. He'd already moved out. And apparently the mom and dad had divorced, he said, a very long time ago. So, Vamplifier says, my guess is there was an impulsive action after years of pent-up anger or resentment over her dad. That's what I'm thinking as well. We're yet to see, yes? I'm not T-Pain says, being naked is just weird to me, man. I don't know, I just don't get why a dad would be naked in the living room knowing his kids are there. Well, she was the only one there, but yes, I get it. Chopper says, when I turned 18, I packed my bags and left already. And Symbolicious, oh gee, so his son seems to be in denial about his dad's drinking, playing it down. It seemed like that too, if it's true that he was struggling with alcoholism. Because I think so far it's her story, but yet they did say in the opening statements his blood alcohol level was high. So, yeah, so A. Heinemann says his BAC was at 0.3 plus. A BAC of 0.15 to 0.3 will put you at high risk, with likely effects to be inadequate breathing, unable to walk without assistance, loss of bladder control, and possibly loss of consciousness. And then we also learned today that the reaction of lye and water could make fumes that could make someone also lose consciousness. So if his BAC was at 0.3, you're saying 0.15 to 0.3, he would be in the high risk category. So yeah, that as well. Sure, it's very hectic, you guys. Yes. So Cherry Lattimore says, Grizzly True Crime, I really wonder if the water came first. If I was mad at a parent who was once again passed out, I may throw water on him to wake him up when that didn't work. Could be that too. That's what I'm saying. Did she know what it would do? Did she know about that reaction, or was it just like flinging things around? Because it sounds like even bread was flung around, hair dye solution, cleaning solution. So that all sounds a little bit sinister. But was she just flinging stuff around, the closest things you could find. Just grab things and throw it around, right? Duck says, I don't know what's going on. Hope you'll go to the... So if you only joined the stream once I went public with it, I was waiting to see what the court would do, and honestly, their Zoom link still didn't work, and I've emailed the court as well to ask them, like, what's up? What's happening with your Zoom link? Because they did say it will be available to stream via Zoom, and that's always better, directly from the source. Anyway, the point is that for the first hour, we had a members-only stream, so if you're confused about why did I get the notification late, or if you're a patron and you're like, what the hell? I was just first doing a trial run of the trial, just to see, can we even see this? Because yesterday was quite a disaster. I wanted to already show you guys this yesterday, and there was nothing to show. So today, we looked at the opening statements from yesterday. Opening statements, first witness, that was yesterday, right? And then we also today started watching the trial live. Now they are on a break, okay? The next witness will be there at 1:30 Michigan time. Right now it is 12:18 in Michigan. I also at this point don't know exactly the duration of this trial, but based on what I could see, it seems to be, what's the date today? Is the 13th. I just want to quickly check something. I'm doing it like a old school, right? So it seems like I saw a date listed there, something about the 19th. So maybe it's up to the 19th. Maybe it's a 5 or 6 day trial. Not too sure, but we will be following along with this trial. That's what we're doing right now. Of course, as well today, Taylor Shea Business had her motions hearing. So I've been looking for that as well to see where the heck is that. So I'm going to be looking for that. Hold on, let me actually just quickly look. And then I've got to go fetch my fan. Like literally, it's so damn hot right now. I just quickly want to see if it was found at all. No. So I saw Court TV had it, the Taylor Shea Business one, but they talked over it the whole time. So like we want to see. It's always like that with Taylor Shea Business's hearings, man. Like stop talking. We want to hear. Okay. So anyway, we're following that as well. I'll let you know what the updates are. Maybe we'll get documents, or maybe we'll just get the outcome of it. Or if there is any footage to see, I will show you. Okay. Probably in another stream. Anyway, so that's it for now. Come back in an hour. I will be setting that stream up now. So I don't have one that can lead you there right now. Sorry about that, because I wasn't sure how this one would work out. But right now, when I end the stream, I'm going to be setting up that next stream. Make sure you find it. Okay, it should be on the home page or under the live stream page. I will also put it on the community tab and on Twitter and on Patreon. So that's many places. Okay, you're going to get notifications. And then I'll see you in the next one for the afternoon one. Be Kind says, are you going to follow what's happening in Nottingham? I have no idea what's happening in Nottingham. I'm just one person. Thank you, Watermelon Fund. Thank you so much. Don't go. So I don't know what's happening in Nottingham. You can send me things. As I say, I'm saying it like sarcastically. I'm just one person. But yes, because people are like, have you seen this and this and this and this? And like, I can't follow everything. I have one brain. Also, please go and subscribe to my second channel. I put some shorts up there for you today and yesterday. So I'm getting back in the groove of things, of posting things there regularly as well. So I'll see you guys in about an hour. Let's see the time. An hour 10. Okay, we'll probably go live a little bit before. So see you in an hour. How about that? Okay, bye everyone.